1,500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from Zep misses again, but there's the invest bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borslow comes through, he has no infest, he has the armlet toggle, needs to be careful, the Spirit Siphon coming out, the glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the Grave off in time though, the open wounds will come through, they have the kinetic shield. There's the black hole, from the low ground, on to 3, Step as well as M1 are gonna get chewed down, 3 dead, Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd, he just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life. And
likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help. But nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned up by the boulder smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for a Ravage. Can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early. Aggressive blinks in. Pops the Rage as well. Still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to contest this and take it down as quickly as possible. They get the refresher for Ohio. It's coming out. Double Roar is ready. Can they find a kill off of this? Maybe he's walking up with the Silver Edge. Ohio's going to get caught first. Ravage catches onto 2. Black Hole counter initiation. Static Storm on top. Aggressive is low. They get up to Static Storm. Showit pops the refresher. It's not enough. Maybe he's getting chewed through by mid 1. They get up the Roar. They'll lose 2. They'll lose 3. They buy back on the Tide. He's got another Ravage. They have no buyback on Maybe. What an initiation from DJ.
Secures another kill, and Tongfu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. How? Brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the fountain. And waddles his way back to the front lines.
Well, like I said, it does waste time, but they kind of need it. I mean, they need to be able to just eliminate somebody from the fight, very similar to what Mu can do for Tongfu. So if he had been a little bit farther up, he would have been able to throw the hook, but the thing is there was a range creep in the way. There it is, yep.
Banana going for a ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. Aegis goes to Tongfu. And now charging back out. Dindy gonna be spotted, and he doomed to Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him! He got him! Not gonna follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get away from it, gonna be telekinesed back. And they will be able to get him as well. There you so a 1-for-1 trade. And wow, Hal is still alive down there. Engagement breakout as Kuro. Oh, there we go. The hook, got him! Zhan Xing taking the long ride to Shanghai. Welcome home. Navi down. Can you say mega creeps? Navi, he got him. One more. This is what you call one for the road.
Man, I can't.
The game for IG. Who leads the way? I believe it should be Zoe. They're gonna cut for the shorter path. They storm up the river. Patience from Zoe. Waiting in the wings. Navi's about to be caught. Oh, there's the sleep. The surge. He catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around. Ravage as well. Stolen by Dendy. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead. 5
heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's Light of Heaven with his BKB. They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd. The last tower will be going down.
Start to fight with that global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away. Get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice is in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Ember Spirit into the torrent. Cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead, but on the side. They find Arme. Arme's dead for 60. Still alive at the moment. Oh, the use! The dodge! Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slam. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kuka. The Stolen Vision Jerax sets up onto FY. OG!
So this PL will continue just to BT split push this game out, get more and more money. And that, for me, is still the biggest problem for Evil Geniuses. Where do you go with this? Fear needs to have that damage dealing item. But in order to do so, he's got to drop either his TP scroll or sell the Ring of Aquila. And Sumail, Blink, Dragon Tail stun. Gunner's going to be here with the hookshot as well. They're going to fight Sumail. The Cogs Burn bought them a little bit of extra time. And with Sumail down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see. But CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they can delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dodge! In from Universe! It's a disaster! CDEC! They're going to get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses, and now they will take Roshan. Sumail is back, they'll get the egg into the Immortal. OG right behind Ame, gets the jump, finds the Pugner. Vision will not find a stun. Pugner with no buyback. OG, they were really playing with fire. The Hex down the Terrorblade. Spectral Haunt looking for the frontline attack, but that's why Somnus goes into the back line. The BKB, they're into the back line. Shaker, he's bouncing around. Hawk shot, she stuns on the way through. Is gone. No buybacks available. Have LGD done it? They're holding Anna. Hold him in place. Chalice will find the damage. F5 will die for it. No, really? Anna is actually running away, but it won't stop Ame from blinking up, looking for the tier 3 tower. 2 players left alive for OG. They're the big ones, however. Thompson and Anna on the defense duty. Fortification. It's delayed as much as they possibly can. And now the jump out. Hex, the boy in the bubble. Thompson able to be protected once again. Chalice very, very low on mana. They have a lot, but Ame, he'll change the life with Anna. Thompson needs to be pushed away. Able to do so. FY jumps onto the illusion only, so the hookshot won't be able to connect. But Anna, he needs to retreat. There's so much damage. Anna down. Buyback is available. They still have not taken the mid racks. OG are just trying to delay LGD for the moment. 5 heroes around. The bubble is there protecting the melee racks. Anna, Sunder! Once again, the Sunder switches to life. Army's back up to full health, but the damage from Thompson, it's good enough to kill up the bait. Buyback is there. Somnus leads forward. They just keep bunching them around, but they're still battling from inside the bubble. Pugner will come to the world living LGD. They're going for the GG push. They're going up to the tier 4 towers. OG, they have to hold the line. They have the numbers. 7 from the side with a Dagon Army, but no! Sunder is back up. It is there. Chalice will fall. They lose the Enchantress. FY pushing around Anna.
He's good at this.
This is very disturbing.
It's not that hard. Have you ever moved your face before?
Normally the trick is if you do it with your hand, your hand is smaller.
I saw him move his face.
This thing is literally the size of his face.
Right. This is not impressive at all. In fact, the fact that we saw him move his face is embarrassing.
It's pretty embarrassing.
But his beard, though. Huh? It distracts you, so I didn't get to see anything. I just was distracted by the beard. It's true.
Are you jealous?
No. Yes and no. I can, even when I grow facial hair, I'm itchy and it disturbs me, but I think if I got to that point,
right?
Maybe I would be happy.
I mean, I know Slacks is trying.
Yeah, I haven't shaved in almost 2 months. This is what I got.
2 months?
It's bad. Yeah.
It's not great.
It's not great. And I'm also naturally hairless. I don't know if you guys, like, there's nothing on the chest.
All right.
I'm naked full rat.
Great 3 game discussions we've got going on here, but I'm about ready to head to the draft to talk some Dota with OG Fly to Moon, the series coming up.
Seconds. Radiant must choose.
We are here to see just how many screws loose OG really do have, because if they're as unhinged as the previous panel will lead you to believe, then this should be something pretty exciting then, because if they're not taking Fly to Moon seriously, this could go in 2 wildly different directions. Either they meme it up. We already saw Thompson on a Tidehunter earlier in this tournament. How much crazier could they really get?
I mean, they've been playing carry IO. I don't think many teams were playing it lately, and this is the kind of hero that you need to ban out, and they straight up ban it.
Fly to Moon picked actually IO earlier in one other series that they played. I think it was Viking, right? Someone. In any case, that IO really didn't work for them. But the way that they played reminisced of OG strategies and OG's drafts, mostly because of IO. Overall, the execution wasn't really there. So they lost the last series, and besides that, we haven't really seen a lot of Fly to Moon. It's a little bit difficult to call what their heroes will be, but let's see. Magnus is still in the pool. Darkseer banned out. Batrider. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say for teams like this, usually you're better off just sticking to what's meta. In fact, a little bit surprised that the Venomancer manages to slip through. If anything, OG may be a little bit trickier to find out what they're going to get up to, as Floating Moon end up picking up the Rubik and the Batrider. It's OG first phase of Tiny.
Yeah, like when you think about Fly to Moon and when you think about their heroes, you have always want to fly on anything that wants to die a lot on that position 5, right? And you have General with his Clockwork or Batrider. Iceberg probably is the most versatile out of the 5. The rest of them, their hero pools are 3-4 heroes that you really see them played on often, and that's it. OG, like you said,
they got a wide
to
pool.
break.
Yeah, it's very hard to guess what OG is gonna play. Like they're one of the, I guess them and Team Secret are one of the teams that is like hardest to predict in what direction they're gonna go for. We've seen in the previous series, the last game, Batrider against, it was such an amazing Batrider game, and I think you need to pick good heroes if you want to have a good time. And this is exactly what they do. You know, just having that. The spell against the lasso, against the sticky napalm charges, it screams, it's going to be position 5 hero.
And they did play the position 5 Abaddon before, but it was with Wisp. And that duo on the safe lane is quite broken. This time around, you don't have IO, it's banned out. And not a lot of teams pick Abaddon, like almost no one, even though Batrider is in the meta. And that's because Abba overall isn't really the best pick for you, besides cleaning your sticky napalms off of heroes.
In the laning phase, and then later on the lasso, but a lot of teams maybe prefer doing the Vengeful Spirit, which is much more popular. It's not as useful in the lane, but useful maybe later on. Legion Commander can kind of fulfill that, but then we're seeing many Batriders be bumped down to like a support position, and you're like, great, you picked a Legion Commander to deal with a 5-position Batrider now.
Yeah. What do you think? Could it be an Abaddon like safe lane carry or something?
It's a possibility. Yeah. You never know with OG, but what they want to do, is just keep that aggression, and these 2 heroes kind of allow them that, having one guy who runs in with the shield, and OG's always been trying to, break the game. One of the reasons why you need to ban IO, ban Darkseer. We've seen so many good combinations from Darkseer plus a Grimstroke plus that hero that you want to buff, or just Darkseer plus a Batrider in yesterday's Serious Enigma against EG, where they just completely won the game because of these 2 heroes.
Yeah. Also remember that Abaddon here is not only good versus Bat, but is pretty solid versus Rubik in the laning stage too. If this Rubik is a position 4, these 2 heroes, like Fate Bolt loses the minus damage because of the Abaddon's shield and also sticky napalm, and you can use your shield versus lift. So overall, it's a pretty solid pickup.
For the laning stage, it's good, but at the later, let's say, post 10-minute mark, like whatever Rubik steals from Abaddon is going to be great. It's just great Rubik game. Whether you steal something from Tiny, whether you steal something from Abaddon, it's not like one team's just gonna go, we're not gonna pick heroes that have bad spells, That's why Rubik is one of the most competitive heroes.
What are you gonna do about it?
You see, Fly to Moon banned out Void. I would be surprised if they didn't ban out some more heroes that are good versus Batrider in the laning stage, because I do think this is General's hero. I don't see Iceberg playing this Bat.
In the mid lane,
it's possible. Maybe they'll switch up the lanes, but I really don't see Iceberg playing it. Void is one of those heroes that, because of time dilation and time walk, obviously is pretty decent. But it's also a hero that OG have played. Their combo, Void, Invoker, maybe that's also a reason why it's banned out.
I'm surprised with the ban, because then we're fairly confident that it's going to be a 5-position Abaddon. Then you're kind of having a double melee lane against 2 ranged heroes, because we're expecting them to be laning up against the Rubik and the Batrider. So, but at the same time, it's possible that they want to move the Abaddon somewhere else, and let that mid one get a reliable one position that he doesn't have to be concerned about anything.
The strongest heroes for the years have been those that can be played at multiple roles, fill in those roles. Abaddon, he's not played as position 4, but the 3-5 Tiny can be played as 4. Most of the time lately he's been just being played as a mid laner, sometimes even off lane if needed. But yeah, everything's still opened up for OG. This is a kind of a draft that, and why I said that they're a very hard team to draft against.
Given the way that Flight of Moon are banning, it seems like they are worried about late game potential, though. They ban out the Magnus. They don't want any melee carry to just farm their way up to late game potential. They ban out the Spectre as well. Does the Rubik and the Batrider give you enough if you want to go for a more early game oriented strategy? Because given the way that they're banning,
Rubik and Batrider just keeps your options flexible. Like their first phase of the drafting literally allows them to go in multiple directions. We'll see which way they opt to go for. If you remember their last series, they rounded up their drafted Ursa. That didn't really work well. Then the next game they looked way better. But OG, it's not the first time they picked Gyro. They also did dive the fountain with Gyro around 12 minutes mark, which was pretty damn exciting. But also what's interesting is that they're banning out like this Lina so early on. Do you think there's anything other than Iceberg just playing a very mean Lina?
Possibly. It's also not the greatest matchup against the Tiny. That's why they banned out Queen of Pain. What OG has done is played Gyrocopter on the mid lane, and they put the ward on the high ground and just farmed the side camp with the flag cannon. I've seen. Was it Invoker against Gyro where he had 2 levels ahead of him? Yeah.
They are dire this time, though. Usually you get away with that easier on Radiant.
And also there's a thing in which Gyro does exceptionally well versus some heroes. Versus some others he can struggle a little bit on the mid lane. But like Lacosta said, when you're on Radiant and you put that ward, you can farm up quite easily those 2 medium camps. Flight to Moon, they snatch up the Vengeful Spirit.
So with Venge and Rubik, it's a strong duo. I love these 2 heroes paired up together. They're going to be good at every single stage of the game. You have save from Venge, you have save coming out from stealing spells from Abaddon, so I can expect prolonged team fight.
What are you picking here for Flight to Moon? Are you thinking about Drow maybe because of this Vengeful Spirit? That's a combo that comes to my mind.
Yeah, if anything, that may make the Beastmaster seem like a deny pick because there's the Drow. We usually see Drow, Beastmaster, Venge to be very, very quick and aggressive. Although I guess it would have been a general heroes, and like we mentioned, Iceberg doesn't really seem like the Batrider kind of player, but yeah, they pick up a Drow, gonna be great with the Vengeance Aura, being able to get bonus range, and Beastmaster selected by OG. No need for BKB Piercing Disable quite yet, but still just an overall very strong laner and a strong pusher as well.
Yeah, this Beastmaster allows them, to control the vision. I still feel like the strongest part of Beastmaster is just going for that Necro, having a Hawk to scout things out. It opens up the Roche. You kill it so quickly. The tower push. This hero is just insanely good. He checks a lot of the boxes.
You're playing with Tiny as well, so perhaps you can abuse the toss early on in the laning stage. That's something that they might do. But overall, what he as well gives is that vision versus Batrider. It's very important to have a lot of vision versus Bat to prevent him from getting those early pickoffs. So Beastmaster overall is pretty solid for them. But I think they just needed a solid offlaner here that gives them the tower push objective taking capabilities like Lacoste said, and it synergizes fairly well with the Gyrocopter too.
Is there anything that they can do to make the boar easier to deal with? Because right now, neither of these supports are particularly strong.
I mean, Fade Bolt is kind of okay, but I don't think they're going to be laning against each other. You have pretty clear what Flight of Moon's do. You have Drow Ranger plus Venge as your lane, and you have these 2 probably as the off lane. They could swap things around, put Batrider on the mid, and then have different offlaner, but this is the problem. They don't deal well with the boar.
You don't deal well with the boar from level 3. but until then, you can have a very dominant lane as Venge and Drow.
So from minute 0 to 2.5 minutes around.
So your point is to, your plan, at least in this draft, is to be as aggressive in the laning stage usually, to prevent him from getting his level 3 for as long as possible. And then once he does get it, perhaps Drow is already going to have 2 raid bans, and then you'll be able to, at least one, and you'll be able to kill off that boar a little bit easier.
So both teams, judging by the bans, they think the other team is going to go for the mid laner. That Prof banned out. I think that's a very solid ban from OG, where it does not allow them to group up as 5. The Roche taking potential is there, more tower damage. And this is the hero that, creates a lot of attention, wants the big kills straight away. So you take away some of the attention from the Drow Ranger.
Yeah, and you see from OG the Dead Prophet and Dragonite bans. These are pretty much your sturdy, safe objective takers from the mid lane. Yeah, Drow can be considered that, but she, right now, the way she's played, it takes a little bit of time for her to come online. And with something like Dragonite or DP in front, it would allow Flightmoon to snowball a little bit in that mid game, which could provide enough resources for Drow as well to be unkillable. Alright, this is your sturdy frontliner for Flightmoon. Doesn't really get countered a lot by... There aren't many heroes that can deal with him that are also in the meta. This is their comfort zone. If you remember, just a month ago, Iceberg played a lot of Kunkka with that Aghanim Scepter too. And it gives you some extra teamfight potential with the draw. That vote comes in handy. Plus you have X marks the spot for catch people out in Elder Titan.
Well, this is what we were expecting to not expect from OG, which is something outside of the ordinary. So, what's the 4 position here, gentlemen?
I think it's Tops and Tiny, right, on the mid lane then, versus the Kunkka.
Versus Kunkka.
Yeah, it's the age-old matchup in which either one of these two can win.
But I love the Kunkka pick from Flight of Moon. Like, you can't just purge that off with the shield. It's gonna be that disable, low cooldown disable that they needed, to just split up the fight, and it's a pretty good setup.
I have to say that I love the Elder Titan, and I'm looking forward at seeing what they can do with it. Usually it's one of those heroes that can... completely obvious to us at first, but usually it is strong versus early advances, versus these early pushes. Flightmoon can go that way, so maybe that's the team.
It's a great counter-initiating hero. And
that's true.
Could also be a mid Thompson. You don't know.
That's what I was hoping. That's what I was like. Why you seem so confident on Thompson Tiny?
He's been
some wiggle room.
He's been, considered as a counter to Meepo. You get Aghanim Scepter. You have BKB. You just keep on fighting, and this is the perfect hero that just runs in with the Tiny backing him up with the Aphotic Shield on him. It's a possibility. It's OG, so you never know what's gonna happen. We just have to see.
Then I'll get a quick prediction from both of you guys. Lacoste, which way are you leaning?
I still feel like OG, it's a much better team, no doubt about it. And their execution, and their execution lately has been, I would say, on point, where they just run at you and don't allow you to actually make any kind of recovery.
Was it the same way?
When it comes to the skill preference and team preference, I'm definitely leaning OG, but I don't understand their draft well enough to go with them. I think Fly to Moon's draft is pretty solid too.
All right,
I like what they have.
Let's see what heroes and what players are doing what as we jump into the game and toss it to the casters.
No doubt there's going to be a lot of people out there backing Team OG. After all, they're usually the favorites in most matches, and Fly to Moon isn't the most well-known team. But, Brian, the last time these two teams faced up against each other was actually Fly to Moon who walked away with a victory. It was 3 months ago in the ESL 1 Birmingham group stage.
Wow. That's quite some homework you did there, Cap. I love watching OG. I love just the way they play, even if it doesn't work. And I do like what Blizzard said about both drafts. I think Flight of Moon coming this series, since OG is so good at creating chaos, let's just have a game plan. A lineup that plays itself pretty straightforward. You know, Drow's going to be in the back dealing damage. Kunkka and Rubik can look to single target initiate, like in a way that doesn't commit, while if we do find that one opening, Batrider goes in. Pretty straightforward team fight execution, like a series of events of abilities casted. While on the other hand, I like this Elder Titan last pick because I think they had some damage issues against the Kunkka. And Elder Titan's all about that aura, right? All about buffing up that AoE magic and physical damage that they have a lot of coming from the other heroes.
Yeah, that's like Elder Titan is he's perfect when you just want more. You know, like magic damage lineup, physical damage lineup, it doesn't really matter. ET will help out either one, and he provides a lot of damage himself, whether it's a laning phase, punching people all the time, or it's that burst splitter. If you have the combo with it, and they've got a couple, at least one really good stun in the Primal Roar that can maybe set it up.
I like how Flight of Moon have swapped up the lanes. They've kept the same players on the same heroes. Like they put Iceberg on the Kunkka on the off lane, but they put the Bat mid against the Tiny. I thought it wasn't going to be a Tiny mid originally because of the Batrider. So then when they picked the Kunkka, I think that's why OG left the Tiny as the mid. And since Flight of Moon saw that, they're like, okay, I guess we'll just put the Bat as mid, maybe like we originally intended. So I think lane swaps are really important on any skill level of team. And the Batten just makes a Batrider so useless in lane. He removes all your stuff and you give him enough stick charges to continuously do it.
Let's see how General does fare. Obviously a great Batrider player, as it's kind of one of his iconic heroes, but we'll see how he adjusts to playing out in that 1v1 mid.
It definitely affects the matchups at all when you go mid. It's funny to see the difference between Weehaw and General already. With Weehaw, I see the double Sage's Mask straight into bots, not a single stat item, while in General, I'm seeing a double Null Talisman. So completely different approach to the same hero in the mid lane.
And why do you think there is a preference for stats from General compared to the regen?
I think it's nice against Tiny, and it's more about like this consistent power spike. Like you don't hit like a specific moment where you're like, okay, now I'm ready to play Bat. But with the Boots of Travel build, it's like, okay, once I have Boots of Travel, I can be anywhere on the map. The way I play the game is different. So I think as an offlaner, you're not used to getting these like luxury items. You're used to getting this like, this is how much impact I can have as early as I possibly can. And I think that's what he's going for with all these just efficient stat items in the Null Talismans.
Yeah. Standing up might also help him survive through the Tiny Burst and may give him just enough damage amplification that he needs to kill a tankier hero.
I thought about that last game too, but then he didn't itemize that way on Wii against the Puck. I thought a similar concept, so I know what you're going for, and I was surprised he did in the last game. So I can get behind exactly what General is going for, but I'm much more of a off-lane mindset person myself than a mid laner.
Well, no matter how it's going, what items is being picked up right now, looks like OG is doing pretty well for themselves in all three of the lanes right now, as they're pretty much even in CS. All of them having about 10 or 11 now.
Looks like everyone's getting theirs. I'd say Beastmaster's one of my like closet picks of the tournament. Like, he's a sleeper hero. I think people value him. He is picked sometimes, but I'm almost surprised he's not picked more. Every time I see this hero, it seems to have massive impact. It's always scary to play against, and unless you just completely shut it down early, the mere tower pressure he represents on whatever lane he's in, it's so like overbearing sometimes.
So you think maybe he'll start coming out of the closet maybe towards playoffs?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's only going to go up his pick rate this tournament, as we see a crazy back and forth. I like the TB from No-Tail. Talked about how good a Batten is against Batrider in the lane. Why not just put yourself in his lane temporarily? Any hero dying in that lane is really bad for the Batrider Tiny matchup, because both heroes are very snowbally kill heroes. So if they die once, they're almost certainly going to die again, because Tiny will have more damage on his burst combo, and Batrider will have more points up in the sticky napalm than buff all the spells.
And it is going to be a little bit of a difference here, just because they've got maybe the better rotation hero.
All the region.
Ben on a regen, super nice. He gets a little bit of bottle hit here. General, he wants to be able to punish Thompson for being so far out here. He's going to go for the flame break and the firefly, but an instant TP went out. Meanwhile, First Blood does get claimed bottom by Seb. His life is traded away, and they actually get 2 kills out of the situation. So maybe that was actually worth it for Fly Moon, even though they didn't get that coveted First Blood.
That's the dream, because not only did Drow get the double kill, but her support also died, so the support can give you all the items that you just got gold for.
Yeah.
So suddenly you have this like free Wraith Band, 2 kills, and you can also get all your health and mana back to full. Sometimes it's almost worse if the support lives, because you're like, okay, now we both have 200 health and no mana. What now? They come back with full health, full mana, and we lose the lane anyway.
He's also 27-5, so this is going to be a very farm Drow Ranger. And I have to say, like, Drow Ranger has been, I've always kind of been questioning this pick when I've seen it in the tournament, but if you get enough of a laning phase start, I feel like this hero can just take over the game.
I would say it's second only to Anti-Mage in terms of the most miserable carry offlaners to lane against right now. In my experience so far, every time I'm against Drow, it's like, God, this lane sucks.
Yeah.
So I think that just having a powerful laning carry that eventually scales to do a lot of damage, it's just a nice luxury to have if you can fit into the draft.
Being beaten to a pulp here.
L2 Boar, OP.
Yeah.
That death's not so good.
Yeah.
Gotta be wary of that pressure with the catapult.
Fortunately, Venge can hang around until she respawns. Top lane is the Rubik Kunkka, which don't really think they're going to be able to pressure that gyrocopter too much until maybe they hit the level 6 area. So even as No Tail is away, it's still kind of okay. General, oh, he's going to try and bump him away with a flame break, and that toss of the branch wasn't quite enough, but Thompson's pretty fast. The deny, but No Tail claims him with the miscoil instead.
I love that OG is willing to pick a Batten. Whenever a hero is super popular in the meta, like Batrider in this case, I feel like whatever heroes hard counter it, you have to go up in value. I feel like they have to. A Batten ruins Batrider. He's an oracle that you can't lasso. Like, that's how I look at a Batten. And not only is he an oracle in terms of the fact that he saves his team, but rather than his save being his ultimate on like a 1.5 long cooldown, it's a Photic Shield, which once maxed out is a 6-second cooldown. So very different there. You can pick, since they picked the Abaddon support second into the bat, they can then pick whatever they want in the core roles. Heroes that are normally countered by Batrider, like you saw there. Tiny normally would be way too afraid to contest the Batrider at the rune, but with the Abaddon behind it, that changes everything. So I really love that.
So you're saying you'd be a big fan of a team picking up Omni?
No, Abaddon's way better. Well, way better than Omni, guy. Let's be clear. I think Abaddon just like traditionally.
So Race is their priority, but within reason.
Yeah,
they still have to be somewhat functional.
Yeah. Let's not start digging into the trash cans here.
Mid one, he's gonna take time out in the jungle here, but Thompson, he runs right past Always Want to Fly.
That's
he's gonna go for V2. Really wants to be able to get on top of a V2, and he's put himself in a beautiful little corner here to pump out some damage. Nobody's died just yet. Thompson picks the tree and chucks it over at the support. Always Want to Fly. He goes down, but they didn't get their original target. V2 survives and gets a double kill again.
Sick positioning from him there. As you said, he tucked himself in that little corner. I don't enjoy playing Tiny into Drow, because unless you get the Blink Dagger, you kind of just want to walk in and combo people, and Drow's one of the few heroes that can almost just kill you along the way, especially this early on. That split shot just does so much damage. And,
he doesn't even have the gust yet. That's another going to be a big problem for Tiny later on.
Absolutely. The Kunkka's also going to make it so that Tiny burst combo is just not quite enough to bring down on the mid game. He's probably going to go that early Dragon Lance, and that's a big failed rotation, is what I'm trying to say in a lot more words than that.
Now the score is 4-4. OG are still slightly leading in net worth, but I have to agree. I think that was really going to slow down OG's timing here. And I'm happy to see Fly to Moon performing well in this laning phase, because I remember watching them at ESO in Birmingham thinking, like, these guys were pretty good. They actually made it into playoffs. I think they got 4th in their group. And I was like, okay, I could see this being like the CIS team that maybe takes over. Always Want to Fly, though, the sacrificial 5 position will just keep on dying, as Thompson, never one to let failure slow him down, a failed rotation, it almost seems like fuel to him. He's like, oh, well, I'll do it again then.
Yeah, I think his mindset fits perfectly with Seb as like as an in-game leader, because with Seb and Pub so far is he's just like, hey guys, no fear of death. We are strong as 5. Go. And it's like you fail. He's like, I know we lost the last fight, guys, but let's go again.
But this time,
what's the worst that happened? We lose again? Okay, well, if it happens too many times, then yeah, that's why I'm not OG. But at the end of the day, I do like his mentality here. Like, you have to take that tower. Beastmaster is an offlaner that heavily relies on getting those early objectives, and usually, if you can't do it alone, it's nice to just have that mid laner rotate in for you. And I like V-Tune's move top, saying, okay, I don't want to contest this Beastmaster directly. We're going to take this tier 1. Instead, he gets caught by Beastmaster anyways.
Nice.
Just on the opposite side. And
they do have the Torrent Folk, but that's certainly not going to be enough.
Yeah, that's a huge kill, right? He was on a dominating kill streak already, and that goes to the carry. That goes to mid 1. 365 gold. 1 gold per day of the year, too.
10-minute runes coming up top. Okay. Yeah, he could have been lassoed at any point. So Thompson wisely does cancel his TP, but he's probably still going to be caught here as he picks up his face boots, and maybe that'll start getting him some distance. We have the TP coming in from the Abat, and he's going to join in and save Thompson's life. Roger, it's back to that bounty rune. He did steal the Aphotic Shield to toss over, but doesn't land in time. No Tail finds that his ultimate's going to be popped here automatically. They're going to try and go for General. More TPs are going to be coming in here. He's going to be able to get the combo. That finishes off General. Roger, with his Aphotic Shield, it does make himself rather tanky. He's going to re-steal it again. And Iceberg is finally going to be able to show up. If you get an X on somebody here, tries to go for the blind torrent, misses. Thompson turns around on him. And now this is some rotations for Flight of Moon. That's going to go terribly as Iceberg immediately woken up. But here comes the saving grace. It's going to be their generation. Stun comes out from the vent. They throw off the damage. And all of a sudden, OG are melting. Thompson hopes for one last attempt at a kill. Some damage goes out. And, well, he does manage to at least kill Iceberg on his way out.
Dude, Drow hurts, man. That's crazy how much damage that does. They've given her some stat gains and random base agilities and base armors. A lot of her stats. She's just the same hero that suddenly, as we see top, Seb overextending just a bit.
General, he's going to stay ahead of mid one, too.
Okay. Seb, that's a big feat. I don't know. Like, that's just trying to make a solo play with no one else around and didn't quite have enough damage. I can see what he's going for, but suddenly I would say it's effectively is kind of an off-lane bat. Like, the way it's going to function in the game is an off-laner. It's similar net worth to the Beastmaster as well, and you're just feeding a 1-for-1 kill there that drastically swings in his favor since Beastmaster was pulling ahead of him before that.
Yeah. I wonder if that maybe simply that misread just comes down to the fact that Batrider probably had a bit more levels than, you know, you're normally used to.
High strength kick. And he has those stat items, right?
Yeah, true.
That kind of stuff can make a drastic difference when he lives with like 100 health and you're like, I thought I had enough damage to kill that guy. Iceberg, the only level 7 Kunkka. He's definitely the offlaner in that regard. I wouldn't say Kunkka's the ideal hero to be in this type of spot. He wants to be able to play lanes. I think that's the issue. Kunkka wants to walk up to creeps and Tidebringer him down, and he is not able to be independent on the map this game. He kind of stuck playing with his team game, so he's going to be under level for a while.
Even better if he has the strength to just bend people. The boat's going to come in here. It's going to land on a no-tail. He pops his borrowed time to soak up that damage. They're trying to play around here with power, but now Seb coming in from the side. Primal Roar goes out. Roger actually stealing the borrowed time there from no-tail. Tries to soak up as much damage as possible. And Thompson, he gets hit by the torrent. Will slow down for the frost arrows. Beautifully played by Flight of Moon. Really pulling OG back behind that tier 1 tower farther and farther. And now I think they're hoping to be able to find another kill, but General, he should find it a little difficult to get a lasso on anybody with no tail kind of sitting around. Couple of shots. Oh, one arrow straight to the booty. It brings down Big Daddy No Tail.
Yeah, that's he's gonna have trouble going to the bathroom tonight, man.
Let's hope he's one of those belly sleepers.
Yeah, for sure.
And here we go, the classic EU.
You gotta be careful. Swap back into the Drill Ranger. General tapped his Firefly up. The X pulled him back in, but another swap from Always On a Fly. He says, I'll give up my life if I can bring down Thompson. He may not even have to do that. The Aphotic Shield was keeping him alive for a little bit. Now the last one's gonna go down and catch his Soxa. So for support, but with the Thompson kill on top of that and Fly to Moon, turn this aggression into a tier 1 tower as well. This is looking very good for the CIS team.
The classic 5-on-5 that started behind the tier 1 Fly to Moon that lasts for like a minute and a half and then turned into a tier 1 objective in their favor as 2 OG members die at their own tier 1. How many people died there? That was a lot. But I love this. I used to not understand this. I'm not going to lie to you. As an NA player, you're like, why aren't these guys hitting creeps like this?
Why aren't they farming?
This looks like, you know, I'm back home right now where he's farming in ancient stacks or soaking the XP. That's what I'm all about. But you play EU pubs, man, this is the life they live. You're like, guys, we're fighting again? Okay. And you, if you try to hit creeps, you just get flamed by 4 people and rush it. So I can see where the sources of this happen. As Iceberg and the rest of Fly to Moon are smoked up, ready to go for round 5.
Oh, Thompson meets that 4-man Smoke Ink with a nicely timed avalanche.
Can't believe nobody got a spell off there.
Don't walk into that high ground. Oh, it's always dangerous, but Roger, he's feeling good about it. He's like, I've got a Aphotic Shield. It's gonna be fine, guys. It's gonna be fine. No, it's not fine at all. I'm dead, and I might have just killed Iceberg too. Always Want to Fly. He's gonna be there to save him. Nice Gus push back, and the boat's gonna come in as well. That actually may turn things around as Thompson getting quite low, but General doesn't feel like he can commit, nor should he, with No Tail ready to go with that Aphotic Shield. Always removing those sticky napalm stacks, slowing down the damage, but Thompson, he's running the opposite direction of the rest of his team. They all went up and he ran down and to the right. Does separate them a little bit, but fortunately the rest of his team shows back up in time to bail him out. It's killing the bench as well. Flame break, bump onto 3, but that's going to be the end of it. Fly to Moon. I think they're going to think twice about going up in that high ground again.
Almost has the Acceptor done on mid 1. He's pretty damn farmed. That's where you really start to feel the impact of that death from drought, spurring his farm that much farther forward. Is he's now only 600 gold ahead of her, but that's all basically from that 1 kill. And that Acceptor is going to be pretty nice for him this game. They lack single target damage to follow up the Beastmaster. Yeah, they have the tiny toss combo, but I'm talking about like sustained damage throughout the course of the fight. And that's what Acceptor has really changed about Gyro more than anything. He's always been that flak damage AoE. But with that Acceptor, he's going to be able to bring down heroes like the Kunkka as well as everyone else buffed up by the boat. And he's going for the Halberd, though, on Iceberg. Does have the gold for it. We'll be getting it delivered shortly. But Halberd does not disarm that side gunner. So diminishing returns in that regard.
I do like the fact that Fly to Moon is just meeting OG's aggression.
Oh, absolutely.
The fact that they are willing to 5-man up, because OG, you look at the stats, they're like the team that has the most kills, deaths, assists, like any of those metrics. Out of all the teams here, just like they're always fighting nonstop.
And you can't counter it any other way. You can't deny it. You're like, I'm just going to act like they're not going to do this and farm. If you try to farm, they'll just pick you off nonstop, especially with a hero like Beastmaster on their team, as well as Tiny. And I like how the way OG plays, it really says, like, join us or die, you know? Or die when you join us, you know? Both.
They kind of force you to play their game. And everyone's had kind of address and adjust to that.
Is under attack.
They're going to try and sneak in that tier 1 tower, and that's what Thompson does. So finally finishes up, even things up.
The tension in these moments, man. It's just like both teams know each other are there, like basically mirroring each other's movements on the map. One team takes over the opponent's jungle and vice versa. And the mid lane is what it's all about. Usually the team with map control ends up being the team that's pushing mid, because both side lanes are getting pushed. As you see, bottoms in favor of Dire, tops in favor of Radiant, and now OG, they kind of dictate what the next move is going to be, all because they have that mid lane pushed in. And you can see Radiant, they're scared, right? They're like, okay, is OG moving our way? They're scanning the river to detect those movements, and it's simply just Tiny picking up an illusion rune. But these are the spots where the luxury that OG gets out of this map control is that they get to separate into 2 pieces, where you see Gyro farming by himself bottom, while the other 4 are mid, while Fly to Moon only has 1 lane to themselves.
Yeah, mid 1, he, like, what would end up happening is Fly to Moon would have to make, like, several TPs down to like bottom tier 2, bottom tier 3.
And then they might just go 5-man on you with OG, right? And you're 1-by-1 feeding, so it's really awkward. And that's the power of Beastmaster. This is where this hero's strategical advantages come into play. The sheer like push power of the summons in the mid lane without exposing your hero. Terrorblade's a similar idea when he gets ahead. It's why these heroes scale so well into the late game, that mid lane pushing control. As they also seem to prioritize that with their ward vision from OG. Look at those wards around the mid lane. They look like they might be trying to take a fight top, but I think this is more so like, okay, we already pushed him bottom. We got the farm we wanted. During the 19-minute mark, we can make our way back towards bottom or choose a fight. That's the two options they're left with. And do they want to invade the triangle? That's quite a ballsy move at sub 20 minutes in the game, but they might be looking to contest those bounties coming up in the next 40 seconds.
Yeah, we saw how Fly to Moon tried to invade the triangle, and it didn't work out so well for them.
I don't know about when Rubik's leading the charge. That's a little bit different. I guess he had a shield on him, so he's effectively the Abaddon, you know, without the ult.
Yeah, that was the other thing. You were talking about the Beastmaster and kind of the vision and control he offers in the map, and Abaddon's another hero that kind of operates like that, right? Because he's able to function. Yeah, he's able to be so far forward because it's like, well, what are they going to do? Like, are they going to jump on an Abaddon? Not really.
Oracle, you can't lasso, Cap. That's, if you play Battle Line, you get used to playing against Abaddon because that's one of the most common counter picks. And then it even became a carry, and that's when you know we've really lost our minds.
I wouldn't be surprised though if OG does go. Oh, that's going to be found. He's focusing on controlling up his boards and such, but he is very tanky. But Iceberg is there to meet him on the other side, and this is Seb all alone here in the top lane.
Hey man, I'll quote the dead lane concept any day.
Yeah,
you know why it exists? Because you can't play 3 lanes at once past the 15-minute mark. Otherwise you feed. What was happening? Mid one farm bottom. Thompson was farming mid, and they're like, hey, we see some boars up here. He has to be here, and he has to be alone because we see 2 other heroes in 2 other lanes. Let's kill somebody. And a little bit of, I just say, too much greed coming out from Seb there. But at the end of the day, they didn't get any objectives off that. There was no Roshan taken, no tier 2 taken. So it's just a death. You know, no price to be paid further than that. But still, you do need to be careful of being too spread out on the map, which is surprising to see from OG because they're not like the Team Nigma's, you know, split pushers of the world.
Sounds to me like Seb maybe needs to invest some of those TI winnings into
coaching sessions, absolutely.
Into some promo code.
Nah, I'm sure he knows. I usually with players, like when they communicate, they're like that, they'll say like, hey man, I'm pushing top, like I'm showing, and they know they're in danger, but they're trying to get away with it.
Yeah.
They know that, and it's like they're trying to eke out that little bit more efficiency, and the goal is to do that as often as possible without the feeding part.
Right.
As OG looks like they've now TP'd mid one to mid, join up with the rest of the team, showing the ET as to be conspicuous, and they are looking to take a fight around the top half of the map, maybe turn into Roche, more so because the Beastmaster TP'd here, so they don't want to be fighting without him. They have siege control of the triangle, maybe going to get a ward up if possible. Because No Tail does push a sentry.
Kind of rotation. It's going to surprise Fly to Moon. Surely he's going to be able to hop on it, be able to catch always want to fly, and Iceberg in that beautiful initiation of theirs. Instantly, those 2 heroes are gone, and Fly to Moon's on the run.
And they're going to try to turn that into a Roche immediately. Beeline. I love the way that the TPs, of course, affect the movements of the smokes. Like, you think if they're smoking from OG, normally they've been playing bottom all game, but since Seb top, they took like the upward and, you know, reach around approach to meet up in the mid lane at about the same time Seb could get there, because if they went there any more directly, they would have been there too early and been potentially fighting a 4v5. So it's really cool it's just so crisp. That's what I like to watch here, and turning that into a quick objective as well. They had that in mind. That's probably why the Beastmaster originally TP'd top, thinking that they wanted to play that part of the map now, not really caring about the bottom anymore now they've gotten tier 1 bottom and mid, and they're going to turn that into another tower as well. So that's the difference between the kill on Seb compared to the kill that OG got, because that is 2 big objectives for them.
Yeah, and now the triangle is even more open. So they take away that tier 1 offlane tower, and Fly to Moon's map is getting smaller and smaller. Now if they want to be able to like try and be extra efficient, they have to push into like far right side Radiant jungle. It doesn't really feel like a great place to be.
And now with the Gyrags, not only did I mention single target damage on heroes, but single target damage It's towers. You see just much faster with that Solar Crest buff up, the 40 attack speed aura. He's got the Abaddon to save him, so he's not too scared of getting committed onto. One of the best high ground siegers in the game, especially once he gets up that Satanic later. And they may even continue forcing the issue, but I'm perfectly content that they choose not to.
General, oh, he gets caught by Tops, and they have that ward on the high ground, and General is forced to use his BKB
That's his only item, man. You that's his, like, was that his 10-second BKB?
Yeah, I think it was.
That's brutal. That is not how you want to use that.
No. No, not at all. Is BKB, like, I'm just not sure what his item is supposed to be, because he's got Beastmaster on the other side, and he's got Abaddon on the other side.
The problem
it feels like he's just not going to have a good game.
Not only is it that you can't blink and reliably lasso because of the Abaddon, but you also have heroes like Tiny Gyro that just kind of kill you the second you blink in, right? So you do have to... the reason why he's going BKB before blink is without the BKB, I imagine he blinks in and just dies instantly. So his idea is to reverse the order of the items, thinking maybe I'll be able to run in, buy some time, maybe Abaddon's use the shield, and you see an opportunity. Exactly. And obviously they're not ideal to use it to survive, but definitely would be pretty hard to execute in fights with just a BK or just a blink dagger.
I thought this meta was maybe dead. We were seeing Medusas, and I wasn't seeing any Divine Rapiers, but Minwan says, no, it's very much still alive.
He does have the Abaddon to help him, like make him more survivable, similar to Adusa, but you're against Venge, man. I don't know. That's a little bit scary to try to go high ground with a rapier.
Venge drew a Ranger, too.
It's just like that. You can't save from the displacement of Venge, right? So I would be goes through with it, but hey, you know, I'm down for a more interesting game. Well, not that it's been a bad game so far, but OG is definitely in a commanding spot, and nothing is better than knowing one little small mistake could spell doom for OG here.
Yeah, plus he's a Gyrocopter with no, like, damage mitigation. He's got no additional armor, right? He pretty much all his base armor, which Drow can cut through. You've got like no butterfly or anything like that.
Drow ult gives True Strike.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it's really had to buy Butterfly, generally speaking, against Drow, just because she's effectively got like a 40% MKB at level 18. So she does have the Crystallis, something I see sometimes, just a little bit of a value damage item because your ult does crit. So it buffs. You mostly get it for that extra little 130% that you're getting out of that cheap item. I think it's like 1,900 gold now. It's super cheap.
Yeah.
But he's going to be forced to go for a BKB of his own. And I don't know. It's just... The issue I have with the Flight of Moon lineup is that... Okay, we're good now, I think.
Everyone just got it out of their system all at once.
Yeah, they just don't have a hero that can play the map by themselves, right? Yeah. And that's what you're saying. Batrider's the best, but usually when Batrider plays the map, he wants to also be able to threaten kills wherever he is. In this game, he's going to have to play completely passive whenever he's farming. He can't show in lanes for more than maybe one creep wave. And the rest of the team is stuck in base, while OG is able to navigate the map freely. And a lot of that just has to do with the counter picks they've come up with and the way they've constructed their lineup. But looks like they're just trying to get a little bit more structural damage towards the tail end of that Aegis. It is going to be expiring pretty soon, as the 27-minute neutral items are also coming out. I love to try to stack camps right before the new neutral items. You know, mid one, I'm a little bit disappointed that he killed that camp there. You're supposed to stack it, man. Get those neutral items ASAP.
The view is when, like, you stack an ancient camp, clear real quickly, you get like 2-3 neutral items right away.
It's a habit I'm trying to get into. I wonder if these teams discuss it at all, because I know the tier 1 teams will like really try to eke out any efficiency they can, and so far I haven't seen it too often. But
what I really enjoy is when a team actually goes offensive during that timing. Right?
Because, like, they know they're going to try to hit creeps.
Yeah, especially if they like will farm an ancient camp real quickly and they just immediately smoke up.
Yeah,
get like 2 or 3 neutral items, and you know the enemy team's probably doing the same.
Yeah, absolutely. The neutral items are balanced in my opinion, but they're only balanced because both teams get them, right? So if you can get them real quick and then make a move off of that small power spike, that's something that's nothing to shake. It is something to worry about in these games for sure.
It goes into the psychology of Dota, right? Where you get sometimes into these patterns of like, okay, you know, like the repeating like farming patterns. Like, okay, I'm going to push this top lane. Then they try and deal with the push. I go to bottom lane. You go this back and forth. You get lazy. You get a little bit too comfortable. And that's where teams that are more willing to shake things up and get really active and disrupt the pattern find themselves free pickoffs.
Yeah, anything that you know the enemy team cares about as an objective, active, even if that's just neutral creeps, is an easy way to read the movements and trigger a successful movement from your team to punish. So, what are we seeing here? A gem checked up early. For what exactly? Just the Hawk, maybe? Map control?
Yeah, I think they feel like they can't be stuck inside their base anymore. They kind of have to push out, and the only way they could do so comfortably is if they know where the Hawk and they know where the wards are.
They've caught the Abaddon.
Is one of the big... He's just like a wall. You want to push outside of your base, and you're like, we had to go through the Abaddon first.
They do get a ward up, and they did force his ult, so he is killable now. But, I don't know. Like, what are you going to do with that exactly? They know you want to make a move. Like, OG knows this. All 3 lanes are getting pushed in. Yeah. They're just playing for next Roche.
I think OG even knows you probably have the ward on the high ground, so they back away from that. And they may not know that you have a high ground right there, but it's not the most rare ward in the game, that's for sure.
That's about as common as the Pudge picks in my pubs right now.
You fan of the persona? I've seen a lot of people complaining about it.
I really like it, except for the fact that it makes people pick Pudge. That's about the worst thing about it. I think the sound effects are the best part. If you ever hear the ult, it's like a squeaky toy whenever when you're ulting them.
Really?
Yeah, you like turn them into your own squeaky toy. I think it's really cleverly done. But you know, some people love to whine about stuff on the internet.
Aghanim Scepter almost done for the Tiny. I never know when you're supposed to go Aghanims on Tiny. Like if you're supposed to get it after the Echo Saber, or if you should get 1 damage item first, like a Crystallis, you know, just a baseline Crystallis before you get the Ags.
I think it's the moment in the game where you think you're going to be in the back primarily. Like right now, it's never really going to get. You've got the Beastmaster to initiate if you need it. You've got Gyro, who's going to be solar crested and Abaddon shielding him. So Tiny, he's on his own. Like he's doing his job independent of what his team's doing. So he's just going to capitalize on their movements, right?
Ben's just like, don't leave me. Don't leave me behind. Oh God.
See?
Oh no, General. It is an attempt. Oh, are they gonna lose the gem too? No Tail picks it up. What a disaster. He tried to stick around. He tried to make sure always want to fly. He held the door open for him. He was motioning, come on, buddy, you can make it. And then they both get whomped on by Thompson's Aghanims pickup. And now with a toss back of Iceberg, he's going to be in some trouble. Tossed right into the arms of mid. Unfortunately, Heaven's Halberd really slows down that damage.
And he's just going to Satanic right back to full.
Firing out at V2, nice turnaround for Staff. Whiskey's still on the body shield as well, so that's going to get the Primal Roar down. Problem is, they're still fighting 3 versus 5, and now Iceberg has been tossed back into potentially his doom. The Gust goes down, but it's not enough to save him.
Torrent Storm,
use it! There's damage. Where's the Torrent Storm? He never got it off. The swap back in does manage to kill Soxa here. Mid one going all the way into the fountain here. V2, is he going to die underneath the fountain? Mid one's going for it. BKB, dive a little bit more, but he's been lasso pulled back. Thank God he didn't have the Divine Rapier. They're going to buy back on V2 as well, and surely they've got it stun. They do. Telekinesis, that's going to stop No Tail. So, they lose no barracks. They don't lose a tier 3 either, BSJ.
They did force the Drow buyback, but he got all of it back and then some. I will say, for a second there, I couldn't remember if OG got the Aegis or not. You know, I was like, did they take Roche? I don't think they did. And then, you know, there's mid one in the fountain. So the one problem with being BKB'd is you can't be shielded.
Yeah.
So if you BKB and then get lassoed, you know, it's working against you here. That's about, it's funny to think this, but General's best window is when the Gyro BKBs.
And now their best window to turn this game around is, okay, we just want to fight against OG. Roshan is up. If we can win one more fight here, take Roshan for ourselves, like, who knows? Maybe they can actually turn this whole game around.
It's all about this Roche. If they get the Roche off that, man, that's a game-throwing dive right there. But if not, if it's still, the game goes back to status quo, OG takes over map control the next 30 seconds to a minute, get Roche, we're right back where we started. And that's not in the... That's map control.
15 to 20, 11,000 net worth for OG, even after their bit of a dip into the fountain.
That mid lane push is so important in these spots. Here we go again, same rinse and repeat. 33 minutes in now.
Fly to Moon, they're going to ignore that mid creep wave in favor of playing in this high ground. and poking at the Roshan pit while OG is there. And No Tail, he's daring them to come down from that hill they're currently on. And all this damage, I mean, they're just kind of poking, but mid-one's at full health. Whether it's the Vlads that's helping him out or a couple of heals from No Tail.
Or the Satanic Paladin Sword.
Yeah. Oh, Paladin Sword, man. Whew.
They nerfed it, but
That's
with
a different
Satanic,
item.
still a very good item.
Yeah, certainly. Can we get some sort of swap play in? Roshan, it's so low. They're going to have to... Oh, OG is actually going to take the fight to them here as they come out. They have the Hawk with the Vision. The two supports, they've been caught out of position. The swap back onto Roger. He gets off the Infoded Shield. The Torrent Storm's going to go down. Actually landing nicely onto these two heroes, but V-Tune has been chased away so far. He's going to turn around and kill Soxon with the lasso combination, but that's just the support. It took him so long to kill him too, and now V-Tune's being chased by the Gyrocopter. He got hit by the air splitter. Fortunately, the rest of the team is there to bail him out, but Iceberg is still in some trouble. And it looks like Midwan didn't care that there was 4 heroes all sitting around the same area. He just BKB, manned up just like he did in the fountain. He's going to do it again, try and chase down V-Tune. V-Tune, another 4-step. No closer to the fountain. He does get saved by the Link. It's now the turnaround. He getting the damage in. Gyrocopter in trouble. Midwan, if you go too far once again, he throws it away. No Tail, he dies as well. The Roshan. It's not like Roshan is super low. Is OG gonna buy back? I think they have to. I think they have to TP in.
Yeah. I love the play they did where they lowered the Roche so far that if Flight of Moon backed up far enough, instead of fighting them, they could have taken Roche.
Oh, General gets caught by Thompson.
But then they just chased him all the way to base again, man. I was like, oh, they're like zoning him away from Roche. If they don't fight them here, OG can just walk back in and kill it. But then they decided, oh, I'll just go into Fountain again. And, one maybe gonna consider an assault cuirass here. Maybe they, you know, maybe some armor because that Drow like 5-shotted him.
Yeah, his current strategy I don't think is very conducive to a Divine Rapier pick.
Yeah, please. You know, usually you pick a Rapier where you're like, oh, I don't think it's very easy for them to kill me, and right there. You seem to like their Fountain mid-one, those strategy. I like people's way of playing the game to synergize with their items, right? And that it just isn't adding up for me right now. Holy crap, is that an enchanted quiver?
That is definitely
an enchanted quiver. Yeah, plus the Venge, right? Plus the Venge aura, plus the Dragonlance.
He's just kind of poking at him right now. Every single enchanted quiver hit, he gets one shot in.
One shot, one opportunity.
Yeah, but I don't swap back. That's going to be enough to save the Drow Ranger for now. Trapped inside, Thompson.
Freaking like 1200 range.
Here comes a Torrent Storm, and mid-one, he's being chain stunned quite a bit. They're going to go for Seb now. Another Torrent. Misses Seb, left-hand side. No Tail trying to bail out Thompson. Thompson is able to get away, but No Tail does go down. That's a dieback for him.
Thompson had cheese.
Force Staff gets him out of range of the...
double Crystallis.
Yeah, double crystal.
I'm down, man. I'm actually down.
I mean, your back's against the wall. You need as much cheap damage as you can get.
Yeah, and you're also going for the Enchanted Quiver play where you want as much value out of one hit as possible. So it just makes sense.
The smoke's going to break, General. He knows they're somewhere here on the high ground. They drop a ward. They see Telekinesis to lead off on Thompson. The follow-up. There goes the lasso, but immediately gets interrupted there. And now the turnaround as General finds himself Primal Roared, and the rest of his team still on the low ground. As Seb, he's going to be able to help catch Roger as well. Always want to fly. Goes for a TP out. And he'll be good there, but... They may have a buyback on General, no buyback on Roger.
Overall, surprisingly, OG having a tough time ending this game, despite having the Abaddon plus the Beastmaster just buffing the hell out of this gyro. Might have to do with the fact that, you know, mid-one's dove into their base deep twice, but Flight of put up a fight. Yeah, possible. You always try to do some reverse engineering and figure out what went wrong to fix it for next time. And, you know, mid-one, you'd think he did that the first time, but he did not go through that process. And
maybe he thinks the dive is the correct play, but he executed it incorrectly.
So you gotta test it one more time. Okay, I see. He came from the top half of the map.
Yeah.
I see.
It's all about the angles, BSJ.
Yes, geometry and such. I think Drow can hit him from like 1200 range here.
Yeah, I mean, Torrent, just a little bit of poke. Boat's gonna come in. Surely he's gonna die. Okay, there you go. Life number 1, gone. And General up in 10 seconds.
It is a range racks, mid and top. So they're now 2 range racks down as well as a melee. And Drow... I wonder what talent he's going to take at level 25. Is he going to take the cooldown reduction or that extra marksmanship chance to go with his whole, you know...
One shot, one kill, ready to die but never will.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. Do they still have the gem? Did they get it back? They did.
They did.
Okay.
Yeah, when No Tail died, I believe the gem dropped, and Always Want to Fly discovered a little bit later. The initiation from Set, swap back from Always Want to Fly. He gives up his life to be able to bail out General here. Stolen ult there. The Gyrocopter ult call down drops on OG, slows them down, and prevents them from pursuing. But every single time, the initiation just looks a lot stronger for OG. They always get a guaranteed kill, and nobody really dies on their side.
Fascinating thing about both these drafts is they just have so much damage amp on both sides. You have the Venge Drow on one side, and then you have the ET Beastmaster on the other. Everyone just melts. Like, people just die so fast on both sides. So any small misstep, and that's doom for somebody. And sadly, for Always Want to Fly, it's usually him, paying for the sins of his cores.
Yeah. I just can't believe he went to Divine Rapier.
Oh, he actually
now that he doesn't have the Aegis. No Aegis.
Mid one's he's an entertainer, he's
he really is.
He's got a good stream whenever he does stream, so he's learning to be a man of the people.
Yeah, I kind of feel like
it's all about.
He's working really well with No Tail. I almost imagine that second dive was just like No Tail goaded him or something, He was like, I bet you won't do it again.
Pussy.
I'll show you. Call me a coward, will you?
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if some form of that conversation occurred. We'll have to ask them about it if they manage to win this series. As so far, it's looking pretty good, and the odds seem to favor him. Only 1.43 with a 20k net worth lead. I feel pretty confident, but maybe that's a bit slighted by the Gyro Rapier. Everyone's like, okay, maybe we'd put it like 1.2, but we all know there's like that 10% chance that mid one loses his Rapier, and suddenly this game is interesting. He is going for the Assault Cuirass. Wow.
Yeah.
I was like partially joking,
armor,
but
right?
he actually just does. He has the Solar Crest, but that's it.
Yeah.
Vlad's no longer gives armor anymore. That's what No Tail went for. So other than that plate mail prior, he had the 8 armor from Solar, and that was it.
What other good armor options are there, right?
Mech and Greaves give armor now.
Yeah.
They give, I believe, 4 armor AoE. Greaves do.
Not the greatest.
Yeah, there's no better option, really.
Yeah.
So it's AC can give your teammate 5, Solar can give 8, so you can give somebody like 17 armor if you put all the items on them.
Okay.
That's a lot of items to put on one guy, so maybe it's better he just puts it on himself,
Is V2 never going to see the upgraded Crystallis, the Daedalus, fully complete, or is he just going to be sitting on 2 Crystaluses?
Or do you think he'll have the Daedal build, the multiple Daedalus build?
That'll be a long time coming, because he's kind of been stuck on the same items for quite some time now.
Or about Beastmaster also has a Spell Prism, the most OP tier 4 item in the game. What hero in the game is the worst Spell Prism hero? Is there a hero that would say, nah, I don't want that on?
Yeah, seriously, it's like I always think about this. It's like, is it better on shorter cooldown heroes that are going to be spamming their spells a lot? But it's really effective on those really long cooldown heroes as well. You give it to like a Tidehunter or something like that, and all of a sudden he's spamming Anchor Smashes really fast, and his Ravage is downtime is very, very small.
I actually like it a lot Beastmaster fits this description, but when I think of carries, I think of like Terrorblade, I think of even a Spectre, where they have low cooldown spells like Dagger and Conjure Image, which they usually don't always have the mana to spam, but then they also have that long cooldown ability that just removes the downtime so drastically, especially on like Metamorphosis, where the downtime is only about 100 seconds. You're not taking 20% off the cooldown. Like, you are taking 20% off the cooldown, but you're actually taking like 30% of the downtime away, because the downtime's only 100 seconds compared to the 140 second cooldown. So
that's why I believe, it's in the name, Spell Prism.
Yes.
I believe that cooldown reduction should only apply to spells.
Yes.
Not items.
I agree with that as well. I always even forget about the fact that it makes your BKB 56 seconds instead of 70. That adds up a lot.
When you give it to like SF and he's got like that, plus his level 25.
Beastmaster, I guess, only has mana for this refresher because of the Spell Prism. It gives you 12 all stats too, if anyone forgot about that.
Oh, it just sounds... Hey, there's the Daedalus. Daedalus number 1.
Yep, Daedalus build halfway there. I think this is really the only way they win fights. Long fights are just not going to be in your favor for Flight of Moon. I just don't see how you're going to output damage that over the course of like 30 seconds is going to overcome this Gyro Rapier.
My question is, like, I agree with that. It's just we haven't seen a fight where they actually burst somebody down either.
That's the problem, right? Yeah. That's the beauty of a Bat. Not only does it counter Batrider in lane, but he also ruins the hero's game plan at this stage. Batrider is one of the most potent 40-minute plus heroes because he just lassos people deep into his base. And a Bat just eliminates that possibility, or at least makes it much harder to execute. If they were ever able to coordinate a lasso with maybe a Drow Silence onto the Abaddon at the same time, then maybe things are different.
All right. We're going to give an Aegis to mid-1 before they go high ground. So, now with that in tow.
Now this time around, when he dives Fountain, he'll have that 5-second window when his Aegis is respawning him to buy a Ghost Scepter.
And you've got one of the best heroes to assist you in diving Fountain in the Abaddon.
Yes.
Right, so mid-1 can kind of lead the charge. He goes down, No Tail goes in, pops his borrowed time, tanks up.
Absolutely.
Time to wipe Fly to Moon inside the Fountain. I legitimately feel like that's got to be part of the game plan for Fly to Moon in coming back in this game. Guys, we got to lure them to the tier 4s, get them a little bit closer, get some swap shenanigans, X marks the spot. Once they get in the tier 4 Fountain area, they could stay there for a very long time.
Yeah.
He's initiation. General might blink as well, but he doesn't quite catch him in time.
The pre-casted roar, and then General just blinks right into it.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
For Blink, and now OG.
Oh my god, the damage.
Yeah, he's putting it out.
He's like dead.
Mid-1 almost lost his Aegis, but they did get the melee barracks. Now they can spend their time. Oh no, Thompson looks like he just ducked some trees over there and got a kill on the support. Always Wanna Fly goes down. Now it's just the bottom lane of barracks left for Mega Creeps.
At what point do you put the plate mail over the treads for mid-1?
Yeah. I think you're actually right at the money there, but hold it! Soxa just blinks in. All of a sudden, the Drow Ranger gets blown up and dead for 2 minutes. So that's it. That's the game right there, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1 does go to OG, as many probably would have predicted.
Yeah, you see the power of ET right there, right? It's just like, let's just buff up what we're already doing. We don't need a hero that offers us anything new. We just need all of that amplification. And I know Kyle is just going to go nuts over there on the fluff panel, as he just loves.
$1,500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling Boulder from Sep misses again, but there's the invest bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borslow comes through, he has no infest, he has the armlet toggle, needs to be careful, the Spirit Cypher coming out, the glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the Grave off in time though, the open wounds will come through, they have the kinetic shield. There's the black hole, from the low ground, on to 3, Sep as well as NM1 are gonna get chewed down. 3 dead. Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd, he just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life. And
likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help. But nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned by the Boulder Smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for a Ravage. Can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early. Aggressive blinks in. Pops the Rage as well. Still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to contest this and take it down as quickly as possible. They get the refresher for Ohio. It's coming out. Double Roar is ready. Can they find a kill off of this? Maybe he's walking up with the Silver Edge. Ohio's going to get caught first. Ravage catches onto 2. Black Hole counter initiation. Static Storm on top. Aggressive is low. They get up to Static Storm. Showit pops the refresher. Not enough. Maybe he's getting chewed through by mid-1. They get up the Roar. They'll lose 2. They'll lose 3. They buy back on the Tide. He's got another Ravage. They have no buyback on Maybe. What an initiation from DJ.
Secures another kill, and Tongfu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. Howl brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the fountain, and waddles his way back to the front lines.
Well, like I said, it does waste time, but they kind of need it. I mean, they need to be able to just eliminate somebody from the fight, very similar to what Mu can do for Tongfu. So if he had been a little bit farther up, he would have been able to throw the hook, but the thing is there was a range creep in the way. And there it is, yep.
Banana going for a ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. Aegis goes to Tongfu. And now charging back out. Dindy going to be spotted, and he gets, no, he doomed to Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him. He got him. Not going to follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get away from it. Going to be telekinesis back. And they will be able to get him as well. There you so a 1-for-1 trade. And wow, Hal is still alive down there. Engagement breakout as Kuro. Oh, there we go. The hook. Got him. Zhan Xing taking the long ride to Shanghai. Welcome home. Navi down. Can you say mega creeps? Navi, he got him. One more. This is what you call one for the road.
Man, I can't.
The game for IG. Who leads the way? I believe it should be Zoe. They're gonna cut for the shorter path. They storm up the river. Patience from Zoe. Waiting in the wings. Navi's about to be caught. Oh, there's the sleep. The surge. He catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around. Ravage as well. Stolen by Dendy. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead.
5 heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's light of heaven with his BKB. They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd. The last tower will be going down.
Start the fight with that global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away. Get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice is in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Ember Spirit into the torrent, cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead once, but on the side, they find Arme. Arme's dead for 60. Still alive at the moment, and all the use! The dodge! Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slam. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kuka. The stolen Vision Jerax sets up onto FY. OG!
So this PL will continue just to BT split push this game out, get more and more money, and that for me is still the biggest problem for Evil Geniuses. Where do you go with this? Fear needs to have that damage dealing item, but in order to do so he's got to drop either his TP scroll or sell the Ring of Aquila. And Samel, blink, Dragon Tail stun. Garda's going to be here with the hookshot as well. Laguna bites Samel, the Cogs burn bought them a little bit of extra time, and with Samel down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it, though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see that CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they can delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dodge! In from Universe! Into the disaster! CDEC! They're gonna get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the Wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses, and now they will take Roshan. Samel is back, they'll get the egg into the Immortal.
OG right behind Arme. Gets the jump, finds the Pugner. Vision will not find a stun. Pugner with no buyback. OG, they were really playing with fire. The Hex down the Terrorblade. Spectral Haunt looking for the frontline attack, but that's why Somnus goes into the backline. The BKB, they're into the backline. Shaker, he's bouncing around. Hawk shot, she's stunned on the way through. ES is gone. No buybacks available. Have LGD done it? They're holding Anna. Hold him in place. Chalice will find the damage. F5 will die for it. No, really? Anna is actually running away, but it won't stop Arme from blinking up, looking for the tier 3 tower. 2 players left alive for OG. They're the big ones, however. Thompson and Anna on the defense duty. Fortification. It's delayed as much as they possibly can. And now the jump out. Hex, the boy in the bubble. Thompson able to be protected once again. Chalice, very, very low on mana. They have a lot, but Arme, he'll change the life with Anna. Thompson needs to be pushed away. Able to do so. FY jumps onto the illusion only, so the hookshot won't be able to connect. But Anna, he needs to retreat. There's so much damage. Anna down. Buyback is available. They still have not taken the mid racks. OG are just trying to delay LGD for the moment. 5 heroes around. The bubble is there protecting the melee racks. Anna, Sunder by once again. The Sunder switches the life. Arme's back up to full health, but the damage from Thompson, it's good enough to kill off the bait. Buyback is there. Somnus leads forward. They just keep bunching them around, but they're still battling from inside the bubble. Pugner will come to the world living LGD. They're going for the GG push. They're going up the tier 4 towers. OG, they have to hold the line. They have the numbers. Seven from the side with a Dagon Arme, but no! Sunder is back up. It is there. Chalice will fall. They lose the Enchantress. FY pushing around Anna. He's so low. Can they get the die back on him? You bet your Nelly they can. Arme still very, very low. The blast will kill him off. But buyback. LGD want this now. LGD, or can they? Backing up? No, they're not. Terrorblade. BT's forward. The ball is up. Thompson needs to defend. X-Nova very visible. You've got a very, very low life Miranda. But OG, they can't find the target. X-Nova, he's got the grip. He's got the control. He's got the kill. Thompson is down, but ES is up. Where the Echo slam. Oh, there he is. Forward. There's your slam. There's the dunk. There's the play. Jirax, the savior of OG.
1,500 gold. He actually is going to go straight into the pipe here, opting to tank up even more.
Rolling boulder from Sep misses again, but there's the invest bomb, and this time Ohio's in trouble. Roar will come out, they have the magnetize, they get off the silence as well, and Ohio will get right click down. The exorcism will go from Mushi, doing a decent amount of damage to that aggressive. The Borslow comes through, he has no infest, he has the armlet toggle, needs to be careful, the Spirit Cypher coming out, the glimpse back onto aggressive, gets him back in there. They get the grave off in time though, the open wounds will come through, they have the kinetic shield. There's the black hole, Rebel Long Grave, on to 3, Sep as well as NM1 are gonna get chewed down. 3 dead. Mushi gets a double kill. DJ, are you kidding me, from the low ground?
DJ, God, the crowd, he just goes insane as he hits the black hole of his life. And
likely could just give this one up. The vision advantage with the Hawk does help. But nope, they're ready. They've actually got a smoke. They can bypass the Hawk with this, but
there's no way they take this in time. Fnatic need to get out. Mushi is going to be stunned by the boulder smash. They're going to come through. Showit looking for Ravage. Can't find it. Mushi pops the BKB early. Aggressive blinks in. Pops the rage as well. Still has his BKB ready to go. They really want to contest this and take it down as quickly as possible. They get the refresher for Ohio. It's coming out. Double Roar is ready. Can they find a kill off of this? Maybe he's walking up with the Silver Edge. Ohio's going to get caught first. Ravage catches onto 2. Black Hole counter initiation. Static Storm on top. Aggressive is low. They get up to Static Storm. Showit pops the refresher. It's not enough. Maybe he's getting chewed through by mid 1. They get up the Roar. They'll lose 2. They'll lose 3. They buy back on the Tide. He's got another Ravage. They have no buyback on Maybe. What an initiation from DJ.
Secures another kill, and Tongfu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. Howl brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the fountain, and waddles his way back to the front lines.
Well, like I said, it does waste time, but they kind of need it. I mean, they need to be able to just eliminate somebody from the fight, very similar to what Mu can do for Tongfu. So if he had been a little bit farther up, he would have been able to throw the hook, but the thing is there was a range creep in the way. There it is, yep.
Banana going for a ride on the Dindy Express. Welcome to the well. Aegis goes to Tongfu. And now charging back out. Dindy going to be spotted, and he gets, no, he doomed to Chen. That's a much better choice. Oh, he got him. He got him. Not going to follow it all the way because we got a battle to watch with Puppy. Trying to get away from it. Going to be telekinesis back. And they will be able to get him as well. There you so a 1-for-1 trade. And wow, Hal is still alive down there. Engagement breakout as Kuro. Oh, there we go. The hook. Got him. Zhan Xing taking the long ride to Shanghai. Welcome home. Navi's down. Can you say mega creeps? Navi, he got him. One more. This is what you call one for the road.
Man, I can't.
the game for IG. Who leads the way? I believe it should be Zoe. They're going to cut for the shorter path. They storm up the river. Patience from Zoe. Waiting in the wings. Navi's about to be caught. Oh, there's the sleep. The surge. He catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around. Ravage as well. Stolen by Dendy. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. 4 heroes dead.
5 heroes dead. Chuan trying to survive. Chuan's gonna go down. Puppy talked about the Naga counter. It's light of heaven with his BKB. They turn it around. I don't even know how they're gonna do it. Standing ovation from the crowd. The last tower will be going down.
Start the fight with that global and just try to blow up and get on top of that Zeus right away. Get into that backline. I mean, the Rubik and the Zeus are really starting to be quite an issue for them.
Chalice is in with the opener, straight in with the lasso. The tower will fall, but they'll drag back the Ember Spirit into the torrent, cut him down with the Tidebringer. He's dead, but on the side, they find Arme. Arme's dead for 60. Still alive at the moment. Oh, the use! The dodge! Anna up into the end, dodging the Echo Slam. Somnus, he's trapped here in the Sprout. OG, they'll slowly punch down the Kuka. The Stolen Vision Jerax sets up onto FY. OG!
But this PL will continue just to BT split push this game out, get more and more money. And that, for me, is still the biggest problem for Evil Geniuses. Where do you go with this? Fear needs to have that damage-dealing item. But in order to do so, he's got to drop either his TP scroll or sell the Ring of Aquila. And Samel, blink, Dragon Tail stun. Garda's going to be here with the hookshot as well. Laguna bites Samel. The Colts burn bought them a little bit of extra time. And with Samel down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it, though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see that CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they could delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dodge! In from Universe! It's a disaster! CDEC! They're going to get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the Wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses. And now they will take Roshan. Samel is back, they'll get the egg into the Immortal.
OG right behind Arme. Gets the jump, finds the Pugner. Vision will not find a stun. Pugner with no buyback. OG, they were really playing with fire. The Hex down the Terrorblade. Spectral Haunt looking for the frontline attack, but that's why Somnus goes into the backline. The BKB, they're into the backline. Shaker, he's bouncing around. Hawk shot, she stuns on the way through. ES is gone. No buybacks available. Have LGD done it? They're holding Anna. Hold him in place. Chalice will find the damage. F5 will die for it. No, really? Anna is actually running away, but it won't stop Arme from blinking up, looking for the tier 3 tower. 2 players left alive for OG. They're the big ones, however. Thompson and Anna on the defense duty. Fortification.
Creating ideas, getting them and also put in shackles, and then finding out what.
How many dog shit ideas do you think there are for every good one idea?
Just a lot. About 10 to 20 to 100.
First rule of this job. There's actually a Rich Campbell quote who's actually full of these if you talk to him for long enough. If you're going to do anything in content creation, you can never be emotionally attached to an idea, because someone might change it and make it terrible, or it might just get killed and you'll never see it. And you might think it's great, and the community hates it, and then you're fired.
That's a long quote.
Yes. Well, the end part is all me.
Yeah. Okay.
But there is an important asterisk that Rich has been fired multiple times.
Thank you. Well, with that just incredible information, it is finally time for us to get back to the action. The long-awaited Game 2. OG versus Fly2Moon, and we have a fantastic draft panel in the Pantheon. Take us on a magical journey.
5 seconds.
Kyle says, Not to get emotionally attached to ideas. I don't even get emotionally attached to those people on that panel. Thank God that's over with, and I got some brains that I can talk to now. Lizard, Lacoste, welcome back to Game 2 of Fly to Moon versus OG. How'd it go? Did match expectations? Were you expecting fountain dives? Because you got some fountain dives.
Yeah, it was definitely entertaining to watch, you know, the fountain diving, something that you don't expect the OG to do. I guess they just thought the game was completely over, but it was not, so it took them another like 15 minutes to actually finish the game. It felt like a pub game at one point.
It did. At one point, it felt like many points.
But OG usually makes it feel that way, right? They make you feel like you're in a pub, but there's a method to their madness. Like the way they play, there is something behind it, and you get drawn into these constant skirmishes in which you lose 1 or 2 heroes more than they do, and suddenly you're in a 10k deficit.
One of the methods that they oftentimes lean on is the IO, which is getting consistently banned out against them. As Fly to Moon ban out the Darkseer IO, pick up a Tiny. OG respond with banning out the Phoenix and Doom. And actually, first phase of Magnus. Lacoste, what's with the first pick Magnus? I know it's a good hero, but first phase, first pick, that good?
For OG, I have nothing against it. You know, it's 99% that Seb's gonna play this hero, and it's quite easy to say that he is the best Magnus player in the world. I think in one of the interviews, Seb talked about how Magnus is not just about RP, what he does, also not about empowered. I think what you can do with Skewer is like godlike. We just blink skewers back, push them away from your teammates, you name it. This hero is extremely good at every single stage of the game. Like, you can see that some players are not really comfortable at playing Magnus. You know, there's a huge difference. Let's say, who was it? GPK. Like, he's god of this hero. Same goes as Seb in this game. But some other players, I'm not gonna name any names, you know, just don't feel as comfortable as these two.
It's about the utility that you bring to the team, but any hero that can disposition someone on the enemy side without utilizing too many of his resources is a good hero. Like,
there's 2 of those.
There's 2 of those on Fly to Moon. But imagine that last game, you have this Bat Rider who needs his ultimate to take you out of position and disable. On the other hand, there's an Abaddon that completely negates you. No matter how much farm you get, Abaddon can be with 0 farm. He'll still a photic shield the target that's lassoed, right? Magnus, however, he jumps behind, skewers the target back. That's already good enough. But on the side of Fly to Moon, that's where I was leading this. You have the Tiny and the Rubik, which both of these are extremely good, especially when they get the talents on each respective level 20, especially for Tiny, the one that doesn't require the toss target any longer. It completely changes the hero and the way that you can play it afterwards.
Yeah, you know, just stall the game for 35-40 minutes, get that level 20, and then start playing.
I mean, OG may gift it to you if they want to dive fountains. You may get that 20 minutes.
I won't say that that's your end game, that's your goal to get that level 20 on Tiny, but it's great when your position 4 has something to look forward when it comes to that level, right? That's the thing. It enables him even further. By that time, he'll have Blink and Veil. He'll be one-shotting targets. But once they become too hard to one-shot, suddenly you can be a hero that actually is saving every single core in teamfights.
Meanwhile, OG's follow-up pick after the Magnus is the Invoker, and I feel like I'm being deceived here. We had praised OG and put him in the same camp as Secret as being one of those teams that have a lot of flex potential in their initial picks. I feel like I already know what Seb and Thompson are playing just based off his first phase. Seems not quite OG's style.
Yeah, you have a good point there. But on the other hand, like, if they feel that comfortable just first phasing 2 cores, like, that just, you know, screams confidence to me.
Also, Invoker that was banned out in the last stage, in the last game, that is. Fly to Moon, they did ban out Void, and usually when we see Invoker, well, besides today when it was played, usually we do see him with some great setup for his spells. Now in this game you have Magnus. It's not your Void, it's not your Chronosphere style of setup, but OG will make it work, I'm pretty sure. You have Thompson after all. I think he's one of the first ones that started that whole build with Vessel, right? Back in 2018.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a pioneer. He was trying to make Meteor Hammer Invoker thing
Yeah,
for a
Meteor
hot
Hammer
minute.
as well.
Now I think he's like doing like double null into Midas or double null something. I whatever the case.
I love the double null something build.
Yeah, big fan. A lot of flexibility out of it.
Okay, so you're memeing a little bit, but there's some strategy behind the double null right now, because it's been changed a little bit, and 0.6 mana region that it gives to you when you're playing an offlane hero perhaps is quite significant from each respective null talisman. So overall those nulls I believe are a bit better right now. Overall Bracer probably took the greatest hit. Great band is alright. No. They went with the Sven, by the way, and this is now with the alacrity from the Invoker. A pretty decent pick, plus in power. You're making this Sven into a hyper carry already.
You need a BKB piercing ability. I would like to see something like a Shadow Demon, Beastmaster still in the pool. You can't just let Sven roam around freely with Empower and alacrity. It just feels too scary. Like, you need to stop him. And with the Shadow Demon, you have a Dispel on all those things, slow him down. I'm surprised we don't see too much of a Shadow Demon. I think that's one of the sleeper picks as well, where he can just easily stack, becomes a extremely good core.
What about a Wyvern for Flight to Moon? It's a hero that would be extremely good versus Magnus and Sven. The problem is Invoker. You're kind of setting up for him with some of your spells, but overall could be pretty neat for Flight to Moon.
So out of the three cores that you see, the one that you want to take advantage of the vulnerabilities the most is the Sven in your mind?
Yeah, any kind of Dispel the Warcry, Empower, Alacrity. I think Shadow Demon just checks all those boxes. You could play it as position 5. We've seen some teams playing it. Virtus Pro is the one that comes to my mind, but they go with the Clockwork. Okay.
So the Clockwork here is taking a different kind of a route, right? You can have all your buffs, but I'll make you unable to use them. I'll take you out of the fight single-handedly with hook shots, with batteries, with cogs. The problem occurs when Sven gets Aghanim's though. Once he does get that, he can just Superman his way out of the cogs. So it's a little bit of a different matchup, considering there are different builds for Sven now that do allow him to deal with the clock.
And this is looking like a 5-position clock?
When I see Flight to Moon, I would say general clock, yeah. Roger also did play it. They played clock on position 4 too. But I'm not...
Okay, what's happening?
Okay, what's happening? yeah. There
all right,
it's OG.
Let's go back a bit.
Let's go back. That's what I'm saying. I was like, we're seeing this Invoker and Seb Invoker and Magnus first phase. Is it really as obvious as it seems? Maybe not, as now they pick up a Ricky. Gentlemen, looks like we have 4 cores on the OG draft now. What's going on here?
I would like you to give the answer, but I don't know. It could be offlane Ricky. I've seen in high-level pubs, Ricky being played as the offlane sometimes. I've seen some people try to experiment as position 4 Ricky. I just feel this needs to be Sven core.
Okay.
Since you have Magnus in your team, but how are they gonna do it? Like Mag mid, position 4 Invoker, and then have Ricky offlane, Sven as your safe lane?
The thing is, like, this Terrorblade pick is really good for Flight to Moon, in my opinion, overall. Invoker, yeah, he can mess you up a little bit, but Ricky, he hates playing against TB. If Ricky is the core, he just hates playing against TB. There's a point in a game in which your tricks of trade just go over the illusions, and overall TB has high armor and just doesn't care about you tickling him.
Depends on the timing. Like, if Ricky gets a good timing under the Fusel Blade, you feel very threatened. You can't use that Sunder. Your mana is getting burned against the Cloud. I have no clue what Flight of Moon needs to ban out. Like, they're probably as stunned as we are.
Maybe a good point. Maybe you want to ban out some stuns, because I feel like if the Sven is the core, which is what we're most confident with, then again, it seems like that's the best hero to target. That's the hero that you should be most concerned about.
Are you really more confident with Sven core than Ricky core, however?
Who do you want more with the Empower? Who do you think can farm more with the Empower, I think, is kind of what would justify a very early Magnus pick like that?
If you want to flex one of these heroes, it's still better to put Ricky in a different position, I would say. Like, Ricky, if he's position 4, he has high armor, Orb of Venom, can harass people. It could also be an offlane Riki. In both of these situations, Riki is just a better option than Sven.
Yeah, but this is new Riki, you're not Invis.
It doesn't matter.
Alright.
He has, like, overall, to compensate for the lack of invis, he got, you know, more base regen in the laning phase. And you can kind of move around a little bit better.
And you can play him as a support, you know, get out of the cogs. I guess that could be the reason.
That's also valuable if you're a core, right? Getting out of cogs on that safe lane.
And this is the hero that I talked about, like just banning out Shadow Demon. I think when we see Tier 1 team playing against Tier 1 team, this hero is going to be contested in certain matchups, especially against Sven.
It's been so popular. Like, I was surprised when Lacoste mentioned it, but then it clicked, and Shadow Demon really was played quite a lot recently, and then just disappeared completely off the face of the earth. Fly2Moon, they finalized their draft with a Bat Rider, and that most likely means that General should be the Bat with your Roger Clock, and Tiny will be played by Iceberg on the mid lane. Most likely.
Okay, so, and Abaddon rounds it up. Probably safe to assume that this is a 5 position.
Perhaps a bit better, right? But the thing is, do you really want Invoker on the side lane? That's the problem.
If it's a 4 position, who knows who the 4 position is?
If it's the 4 position, yeah, but that extremely complicates the draft afterwards. I think your cores are Invoker, Magnus +1.
Okay, either the Riki or the Sven.
Riki or the Sven, that's how I'm seeing it. But you're right, it could be a Invoker position 4, yeah, why not?
Based off of their competitive history, as Capitalist had mentioned at the beginning of Game 1, Fly2Moon had beaten OG the last time that they had met up in ESL Birmingham, but based off of Game 1, it still seems like OG is going to be favored.
Yeah, but if we remove the names and just look at the draft, I would say the the Dire team misclicked twice.
Too many. This looks like a pub draft.
It really does. Like, one of these heroes is going to be in jungle, and most likely it's going to be Sven. You know, he has a built-in cleave.
I'm just hyped for good dotes for OG. Whenever they play, I learn something new. It opens up some new dimension to the way the game can be played. Just hyped for this. I still think Fly2Moon, like in the first draft, in the first game, I liked Fly2Moon's draft more. I like it here as well, but it doesn't mean it's better.
Then let's go ahead and get educated as we pass it on to our casters for game number 2.
Now, I am in no way saying that OG is disrespecting Fly2Moon with this draft. I am absolutely not saying that. What I am going to say, though, is if I was on Fly2Moon, I would feel disrespected at this point.
I can't blame you for that, to be honest. We were theory crafting the 5 different orientations of roles that this could come up with, and I think I was right? I said 3 mag, 4 Sven.
Yep.
Okay, you know, just once again, teaching Cap a thing or two as we work together here. We do see the Abaddon absolute last pick in response to the battle.
You also suggested offlane Riki
with a meteor,
and I said to you, absolutely not. I can't see Riki anywhere else. But safe lane. Mid, what's committing for it? Is he gonna get this first one? He needs the Aphotic Shield to pop, and he gets it.
The Aphotic Shield does pop and do damage before the damage is registered, so...
No, Tail almost lost them that first blood by tanking the tower.
You know, that offlane Riki pick with the Meteor Hammer prediction, that was that was like the, you know, ace in the hole, where it's like, if they did that, I would look like a genius.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I gotta throw that one out there just in case, you know. That's going for the home run. But much more normal lineup, one would say, from Fly2Moon, as the offlane Bat, or 5 position Bat, offlane Clock. Never mind, not quite as normal. So they've demoted the Bat. That's been their response to this Bat, and we heard Kyle about the mid laner to the 5-position counter, and they said, well, we'll just make it a 5 against a 5.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty fair because he's up against a double melee off lane, and neither one of those melees is the Abaddon. So I imagine this is going to be a really good 5-position bat for the laning phase anyway. Soxa is going to be forced away with all those stacks on.
Would you say this is a sticky situation for Seb and Soxa?
I think it's going to be a very sticky situation. I hope it doesn't blow up in their face at any point.
Yeah, I see what you did there. As V-Tune looks like he's having a pretty decent start thus far. Tiny also absolutely free farming the mid lane. I have to imagine he does pretty well against Voker. The only problem in Voker I could see posing is just the continuous right clicks to Tiny's 0 base armor. But
yeah,
Thompson does get some nice CS with that tornado. Looks like both heroes are getting what they want out of mid lane. Thompson, one of the few Vokers I still see go for the Quas Wex. I'll occasionally see it, but I see a lot more Exorts nowadays.
You know what's funny is I was literally just talking to some other analyst in the cast. I think it was yesterday, and I was like, oh, we're seeing Quas Wex. I feel like we're seeing mostly Exort. He's like, no, I feel like I'm seeing more Quas Wex. It just depends on who we're watching.
This is like
he shall not be named. I'm not trying to put people down here, Brian.
If it was Kyle, that makes a lot more sense. As we do see the Sven go down.
Yeah.
Not to be unexpected, right? A little bit weird that it happened when Terrorblade didn't have meta, but the Batrider is just so potent here. They can't remove Sticky Napalm. Almost surprised they haven't rotated the Abaddon with the Sven here.
Yeah, seriously. I'm gonna try and go for the kill on Always Want to Fly. Couldn't get the skewer positioning, in part because of that Sticky Napalm ruining that turn rate.
Yeah, the turn rate nerf on Sticky Napalm was pretty impactful, though.
Yeah.
Going from 40% or 7% to 40%. If you think about it, you used to have 30% turn rate, and now you have 60%. So they basically gave everyone double the turn rate against Batrider level 1. It's pretty noticeable.
And it's going to be pretty noticeable here, where Always Want to Fly is going to die.
Always want to die, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I can't wait to see
ever
them
used
against,
that one
see them against 5 men. Always Want to Die versus Die.
Yeah, that's true. I like Die. You know, it reminds me of the golden age of the NSYNC. Or was that Backstreet Boys? Man, same idea.
One of those boy bands.
Yeah. The prime time of our generation.
Yes, back when there was real music on the radio.
None of this new rap crap. You know what I mean? Get at him.
General trying to stay on top of this damn Riki, but it keeps on bleed striking away, and apparently nobody cares about CS.
Yeah, General one of the few... Oh, God.
Going again? No.
I was going to say, General is one of the few offlaners that I've seen actually play Clockwork 3 more than, like, once. You know, he does believe in it. That was at least last patch. He goes for, like, the double bracer, but he is queuing up Wraithband this game due to all the physical damage that we see represented by the Mag, the Riki. Even the Sven represents a little bit of it, but not nearly as much coming from a 4 position.
I wonder if that's just because he's an old school offlane player, you know? Like, he played during a time when Clockwork was the premier offlaner, and so, you know, he's like got a little bit of nostalgia for it.
Yeah. Back when you'd cogs block and hope you'd get 1 CS in the first 5 minutes.
Yes, the suicide lane.
Yes.
The good old days.
Yeah, you're starting to come off like a real boomer right now, Cap. Not gonna lie to you. As V2,
okay, I'm embracing my boomerhood now.
Hey, you
I've
know
already
what?
shaved off all my hair, you know?
It's true.
Gotta go with it.
It's better to like accept it, embrace it, than to have other people, you know, be able to make fun of you for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Iceberg toss it back, tops.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's a couple of tower
Body block.
shots. Certainly not gonna get the kill as he's got Tornado on Thompson. Okay.
Wait, that disjoints?
I did not know that either.
Huh.
But apparently invisibility can't disjoint. Oh, Thompson pops back out. Iceberg wants it. If you can get a range of the toss, maybe no, but the fairy fire goes off, so Thompson's going to be perfectly fine. Thompson completely debated you, and that's like a Thompson classic, man. I feel like Thompson is the guy who uses fairy fires to bait people in the most.
I also feel like a lot of people cast their spells to defend themselves like earlier than that, right? He just ran away when he had Ghost Walk, he had Tornado that entire time, as you were saying, and he's like, oh, maybe I can get this kill on the Tiny. Instead, he just pays the price. Iceberg,
nice skewer back.
Getting the debate there.
V-Tune.
Hey, he got
18 armor, man.
comment on that too.
Insane. Iceberg does rotate up to top lane, gets a very important kill on mid one.
Already down by 1K at 5.5 minutes though with the mag lineup. The mag lineups will always accelerate themselves, and that's always a bit concerning this early on. I'm a bit concerned for the objective taking for Flight of Moon. Yes, they have Terrorblade, but I have a feeling this game, because of the Quaswex Invoker and all the AoE, just even from the Sven stun and the mag, it doesn't seem like his hero is going to be able to hit towers for a while.
Yeah, I guess my concern for OG is like a lot of this. There's a lot of weight I feel like on Thompson to make a lot of moves, you know, in this game, and because what does he have? You know, a 4 Sven, a 5 Abaddon.
Yeah, Ricky kind of starts to make moves. I don't know if he'll be able to farm more on Ricky just because he has a mag. I would hope they kind of just use the mag and power to get him an earlier defusal, but then play him like a normal Ricky.
Sure. Iceberg, another rotation by him. He's going to go for Seb. Just talking about how Seb was having a pretty good game here, and apparently Flight of Moon, they agree and say it's time to put a stop to that nonsense.
Is that Thompson on Tiny? Just, you know, level 5 running around the map killing people?
Seriously.
This is much more common in EU, and I love it. When people lose their lane, instead of like trying to go back to an unwinnable lane, like Thompson's already beating.
Dude, he's got 21 charges, Thompson. That looks like this time you've been debated, sir. Dude, yeah. Roger had a Fairy Fire and 21 charges. He was perfectly fine.
Didn't check item inventory.
Classic mistake. For me.
Yes.
Classic mistake for me. I don't expect it out of Thompson.
I was just saying that, like, that movement by Tiny even sets up that play to happen. If in a bad lane as a core, it just makes you a liability, but instead he's turning his weakness into strength somewhere else, where he may be level 5 to the Invoker level 7, but everyone else on the map's level 5, so why not go there? I was surprised a bit that Thompson didn't counter rotate him at all. You know, he didn't spawn in a way where he broke up the engagement, but he was happy, it seems, to get the solo XP mid just to make sure he gave that much more away when the Tiny came back.
That is kind of the Quaswex Invoker specialty too, right? Kind of rotating, not feeding, kind of rotating.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew what you're going for there.
Two-man smoke up, and Soxa runs right into the open arms of Iceberg. A little slow on the combo, though, aren't we, Iceberg? What was that? Actually, not going to be able to get this kill. Two-man RP, but here comes Always Want to Fly. Maybe they'll actually get a more important kill here. Seb kind of put himself in danger. Fortunately, he's got no tail around.
They have no damage here on OG, like.
Yeah, but then again, Flight of Moon are also a little bit lacking in damage around that Abaddon. And Always Want to Fly is going to get caught out by Thompson.
Yeah, I took that 4th hero. Anytime I see a lineup with no damage in EU, it just seems like they have 4 heroes there, like, this early on in the game, and suddenly you're, okay, I guess 4 heroes right-clicking is a pretty good amount of damage. As General's actually having a pretty good time up in the top lane. Neck and neck on the net worth with the Ricky. Has the Wraith band for the attack speed and the armor. I used to see him go for the triple bracer ags. Yeah. So we'll see if he goes for the small status and the ags like I've seen before. Maybe he'll go into some more items.
People going Wraith band now instead, Brian?
It's just for the armor. It didn't used to give armor, right? So you're a clock with 5 base armor against Ricky. And that's your laning opponent. You're not really rotating all that much on clock, because if you rotate too much, you and Tiny are basically doing the same job at that point, and then nobody's farming. So as we see OG diving again, Thompson's back for some more. Iceberg's also here.
Iceberg is going to go in against 4 by himself, basically. A little bit hit and run tactics. Not enough to kill anybody just yet. Thompson, the tree goes out, but a Aphotic Shield, that'll block some of the damage here. But a General goes into the hook shot, hits the Abaddon instead. That's not what he wanted. He does have his battery salt out. No tails left on very low HP. Midwood's going to try and man-fight it up. Dodging a little bit more. Soxa pops the God Strength and finishes off General. His first rotation, and it goes completely awry as now Iceberg may find himself killed next to his tier 2 tower. Roger, please save me, buddy. The avalanche slows down the damage. Bottle hits, but it's not good enough. They're going to dive into the tier 2, and there's no response from anybody else. I mean, they've got the Terrorblade. He just wants to keep farming. Roger's gonna get dove underneath the tier 1, and I guess damage isn't the issue anymore. Roger tosses mid 1 back into the tier 1 tower, but the tower, it's busy focusing on creeps, so nobody from OG will die. V-Tune will get a tier 1 though.
Yeah, he made something happen on the other side of the map. Thompson does rotate, but I think he's just too speedy on on V2, and that Metamorphosis buff to not lower your move speed anymore has been pretty noticeably impactful at this stage in the game, where usually you weren't comfortable enough to siege towers with meta because people could chase you out and catch you on your retreat.
Anybody who shows up the bottom lane is just dead.
That is the dead lane cap.
Uh-huh.
And very personified this game. This is exactly what I like to see in that lane. Teach them a lesson, OG.
Okay, but Brian, there has been some adjustments that I would say. Ooh, Iceberg, seeing if anybody gets close. He's going to try the other angle here. Now, Saksa, I think he would certainly die to this combination, so you could just take that kill instead. I've noticed a lot more pro teams, they'll do this where they, if they get themselves ahead, will take the enemy safe in tower and then protect their own.
Yes, but
why is that?
I think it's because of the fact that if you take their safe lane tower, it's like really weird for them to play bottom. Like they say Dire takes safe lane tower. They don't really want to play bottom anymore. It's like it's even more dangerous than it already was. So then if you're able to control the top half of the map as well, suddenly where do they go? Like they just don't have anywhere to go. So I think it's like a strength move where if you are strong enough to not only take their tower but also defend your own, it's the most map control you can acquire this early on in the game. I think is what people are realizing, since your own outposts being not capturable by the opponent team, just makes it that much easier to defend your own jungle, as we do see the Abaddon go down this game to the Bat Rider as well as the Tiny.
Yeah, he uses Lasso to force out the borrowed time and lets Iceberg clean up the kill. Nice hook shot in from General Thompson, who'd already used his Tornado, now left with just the Deafening Blast to protect himself. Fortunately, that's more than enough, though.
Yeah, I like the way that these subtle changes on the map affect like the optimal way to play.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if OG's trying to make moves, the concepts are still there. They're almost always going to be bottom, like because they haven't taken that tower yet. And if Flight of Moon doesn't commit enough resources to defend that tower, they're just going to feed one by one. The idea of the lane is that they're not accomplishing any objectives there. They are only defending theirs, and they have to be aware that if they're there, they're protecting objectives from OG movements. They can't just go one at a time. OG they had 5 heroes in the bottom lane for what, like 2 minutes in a row?
Yeah, also to fly. He's being chased underneath that tier tower, but they do have 2-man smoke coming in from behind, plus now TP rotation.
There we go.
It's going to get real interesting real quick. Iceberg gets a nice combination on a mid one. Seb looking to protect his carry, throws out the RP, but there's so many heroes here. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get away from this one. Mid one pops out looking for a blink strike, but no opportunity in range. Fly to Moon, nicely baited by Always Wanna Fly.
This is the benefit of V2 taking that tower top, because as you said, when people take that tower, they're more inclined to now start to defend their own. This is a great movement. It makes it so OG's the pressure bottom is much more punishable. There's nothing for Terrorblade to gain top. There's no pressure that Thompson's creating by being top. So they don't feel the need to be there anymore if they can defend their own tower. So yes, the Bat Rider looked like he was kind of feeding initially, but as you said, the 2-man smoke was prepared. They collapsed every hero into that lane, and that's what that right lane represents. All or nothing. You don't go one at a time. You know, as long as you are prepared to respond to the aggression, it's perfectly fine to be there. As we see, OG trying to catch Clockwork out, no mana.
Yeah, only has 4 wand charges, and that's certainly not enough.
He's saving them for the next time. It wasn't going to change anything.
Yeah, I hate it when people do that, when they blow regen in situations where they're clearly dead.
Absolutely. Terrorblade did the nice little trick where if you summon a Conjure Image right at the end of your meta, it kind of glitches up and keeps the Metamorphosis on that Conjure Image.
That'll help him clear through the Ancients that much quicker. He's top net worth right now, though the overall team net worth is very even.
Terrorblade, one of the best 1v5 heroes in the entire game. Might have to opt for an MKB, though, this game, because you are dealing with a Riki. So not only, like, BKB is nice and all, but it doesn't make your illusions hit anything. As he's going for a Battle Fury on mid one. This is the EU region, sir. This is not NA. We do not. There's a lot of creeps that are not hit here. We hit heroes.
I mean, it's going to be pretty interesting when he has Battle Fury and Empower and just kind of hops in there against the Terrorblade. I'm not sure if that's going to be effective or not. Iceberg burned out of his mana. In trouble here. Didn't get a chance, really, to show off that fresh Blink Dagger.
He'll get to use it to get out of base quicker.
That is true in 25 seconds.
Absolutely, as we have the Ags almost done on Invoker. Those RPs, if he gets even just one, sometimes it's better to only get one with the Cataclysm coming on. That's going to be immediate solo threat from even the Sven stun. Honestly, that's a really early accept coming out from Thompson here. Making a move on that mid tower.
Big bold flame break, little things to poke at OG, see if they can force him back, but OG will not be deterred. They have that siege wagon up. They really want to take this tower. They're going to go for the dives to make sure it happens. Always when a fly goes down first, but Iceberg, he blinks in, tries to make that initiation to Thompson. Doesn't really stick, nor does General's jump, as he didn't even throw out his hook shot there. He's going to wait to use it on Saksa, so at least they do find a trade-off there, 1-for-1. A buyback was actually used there from Always Want to Fly.
It's only in 5 position, but still. Curious what the Sven goes for next. He's got 1,000 gold. He went for the drums on the support Sven. Is he going for like the Ags, the Blink, maybe, you know, like a Solar Crest type item? We'll have to see. I don't think I've ever seen a support Sven this patch.
Yeah, I have to imagine, like, I could see a rushed Ag not be too bad. Nice toss back there from Iceberg underneath V2. Now it is just Edaban, who Always Want to Fly. That's double damage mid-1. Riki. Gotta watch out if you're a support in this game.
94 plus 145. You have the Claymore, you have the Empower, and the
RP. Skewer back into the rest of the team with the AoE stun of the Stormhammer. A beautiful combination that kills the 2 supports. And OG can finally lay claim to that mid-tier 1.
You know a mag player is a mag player when he turns around during the RP. Because you can right-click behind you and RP, and your hero will turn while RPing. So it sets up the skewer much quicker, it's much crisper, it saves maybe like half a second, which is usually enough to make the difference, especially when you're skewing them into something like a Sven stun, so they're still stunned when the Sven stun hits and can't cast even a single spell as that
very
supports go down.
That very awkward if you just do it the normal way, the walk around the skewer like so many times. Some stun's gonna come out, something's gonna happen.
It's easy to do in like test demo mode, but doing it when you're against a bunch of heroes and you're trying to place the RP in the perfect spot and they're all moving and everything, it's pretty impressive. That's just the difference, you know, those little efficiencies, those little mechanical optimizations that these players go for when they've played a hero. A lot of times, as you see, Seb is a platinum mag player on Dota Plus, at least, as Thompson a good-looking guy.
Yeah, good close-up on the man who was having quite the ball during the draft. I saw him laughing a number of times as OG was going through their draft.
Yeah, it looked like a fun draft. We're all having fun figuring out what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, and I'm sure they were just laughing at the idea of Fly to Moon, trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, they're definitely the mindset of a techies player, you know, where our draft is ruining the experience for the other captain. I'm all about, if I don't know what I'm doing, how is the opponent ever going to know? OG, on the other hand, they just know. They know more than the other people, so they can know what they're doing and still have that same effect.
I saw Knoxville tweeted at you the stack timings.
Yeah, that was some cool information. Viking GG is the #1 team for stacking camps around the 27-minute mark, averaging almost half a camp stack per game.
Now, I want to see that same stat, but for all of the timings.
For 17, yeah.
27.
I do it as often as I can. I really do it. I'd say I stack it at least half the time per each one. So it's something I've gotten in the habit in. I hope it'll catch on because I can act like I was the first one to do it, even though someone probably in China did it first, and that's who they're actually copying. Vampire Fangs for Terrorblade. Wonder if he's going to hold on to those. They don't really have any sustain in their lineup, and they have a lot of just AoE crap on the side of OG that he'll take damage from, unavoidably so.
Poor man.
He was in his
He's just sitting on top of a sentry.
That's a clock with just a 4-staff, man. That's an offlane clock, first item 4-staff. That does not feel good.
Yeah, remember when you were talking about how he wasn't rotating because he's kind of doing the same role as the Tiny, so he's focusing on getting some more farm? Well, that didn't really translate a whole lot.
Yeah, there's the farm. 4-staff.
4-staff.
It's obviously nice against the Riki in the mag, but I don't know, man. That's a lot of that's your early item. It's not like a Veno where you do like a shit ton of damage or just your abilities tries the man to dodge that EMP. This is not Arteezy, nor is it Mikke that we saw earlier. But it's fine if you miss your spells. Just sunder your support.
Yeah, Always Want to Fly says, no big deal. I got the Tranquilbutsu to toss back again. This time on Seb, he is able to get the skewer away. Looks like a little bit farther down. We had the hook shot on in onto Thompson. That's a way more important kill, as No Tail was too busy trying to save his other allies to get to Thompson. Now mid-1 sends some trouble. Blink strike away.
You can just shield off the dust.
No, he toss back a creep. It got in the way. No tail. He'll be hit by the low ground shots on the Terrorblade.
That's actually super annoying. They can't dust the Ricky because you can abandon shield off the dust.
Yeah, skewer back in. Seb catches V-Tune and his illusions, but I'm not sure if he wanted to do that. Iceberg takes that opportunity to pull Seb back into the fight that he started in the first place. And Force Staff, there goes General. He's going to be able to grab some people here. And buybacks are coming out from OG. They're going to try and turn around on General. A Photic Shield stolen by Roger is going to be able to wake General up from that stun. RP for a second there. Seb, that's not the real Terrorblade. And quickly realizes too. Can't stick around for the 20-minute bounty runes. Now RP skewered together.
That was sick.
That was nicely let up, but Iceberg's still alive until they get the Force Staff surrounding him. Make sure he can't get his hands on any of those bounty runes either. Oh,
immediate smoke.
Immediate smoke up from OG. Say there's only 3 alive from Fly to Moon, and Meta's down.
This is a map sweep smoke. Even if they don't catch somebody, which it looks like they are going to catch them, the rest of Fly to Moon has to play so scared until they see this, as they Clock already TB back to base. Terrorblade's only showing top because he saw what happened bottom. Really good map control smoke. This is the best way to get wards up, absolutely collapse on every single lane at once. If you're all missing, the enemy team has to act like you're in whatever lane they're in because they have to be afraid of you dying, and since they smoke, they could be there even faster. I really like those types of smokes because even if they weren't to get a kill, the mission, the goal of the smoke would still be accomplished.
Sure.
And that is a Force Staff from Support Sven, who is higher net worth than the offlane Clock, who I'm sure you and I both know equally well that offlane Clock often turns into a support in its own right.
Yeah, and so normally you'd like to see a 4 position that can kind of take over that role. Instead, Fly to Moon, they have a strategy of just all in on V-Tune.
Yeah, this is not the GH Rubik we saw earlier. Not to take anything away from Roger, but GH was farming up a storm. There's just not the map, the area on the map that he wants on Rubik. He can't be alone, right? He's against an Invoker. He's against a Ricky. He will die if he plays his own little game on the side lanes.
So, Biosha, you described Terrorblade as one of the best sort of hard carries in the game currently. Do you think he's going to be able to do that? Let's say net worth's even 20 minutes from now. What do you give his chances of just being able to 1v5 OG?
I'd say it's 30-40%, but the thing is, if there's one hero in the game that I want with the net worth distribution looking like it does, Terrorblade's one of my prime candidates.
Sure.
Where you have Terrorblade against the world, right? Yeah. As long as you have some tools. The problem in this game is they don't have Avenge. They don't have a mag. They don't have a Darkseer. You know, they don't have some hero that buffs him up. So it's that much more difficult for him to solo carry the game because he is capped out at 6 items, right? On the other hand, with Ricky, you have the mag. You even have the Abaddon with the save. It makes it so that they can skip out on maybe some defensive items, maybe some damage items because of the Empower. On the other hand, Terrorblade has to itemize for every single thing that threatens him on the side of OG, whether or not that's the Cloud, whether or not that's the AoE RP, the magic damage, the Deafening Blast. And eventually that makes it harder and harder to carry. But if they can get 1 or 2 good engagements as they're looking for one right now, that could be a difference maker for Terrorblade blowing up by hitting that 6 slot of timing super early. Scotty complete.
Yep, he has the Scotty, so he's very much ready to fight. They're going to get the toss back on a no-tail here. Not really the ideal target, but they're still going to be able to find some other heroes here. OG, they're being slowed down by this Scotty. They do have that Tiny very, very low. It looks like mid-1 might be able to pick up the kill, but no. Actually, Platinum pull back. Mid-1's in some trouble. The RP goes out, but it doesn't stop the damage from V-Tune as he lays it out. They do have that big Sunstrike combo there, but it didn't really come to effect. Nobody really got caught by that. Just a bit of harmless damage on a General. Okay, a little bit of meatball action there on V-Tune, bringing him a little bit low, but he still has a Sunder. Turns it on to Thompson. Thompson now down to half health, but they need some disables. They need some stuns. V-Tune, he needs to be able to pump out the damage on people. Looks like he's got some eyes finally onto Thompson, but he's getting skewered back into the tier 2, but he doesn't give a damn. Now what, that damage out. Finishes off the Invoker, and they're turning. Sox is trying to, but it's a 4 position. Sven with the Force Staff. You know, so many damage, Soxa. Underneath the towers, V-Tune just doesn't care. He goes for the DPL spotted. Oh my God. Stormhammer comes in just in time, and V-Tune not having a Sunder anymore means he's just damn dead.
Hey, mid-one's got to be much more careful. Without him, they just don't have damage. They really don't have any damage.
Yeah.
And he died right at the start of the fight. Surprised he's going for a Scotty as opposed to like a Manta. Just some ease of execution item where if they catch him with some dust, he can push it. And in this case, he's about to get blown up again by Tiny. He brought down to about 20%, but that's just not enough. As Tiny blew his entire load right at the start there, and he's got nothing left in the canister.
Yeah, a little awkward too because General hook shotted out at that time. Like maybe, just maybe, he sticks around. They could focus mid-1 down.
Not on the same page, right?
Yeah.
As Roche immediately for OG. Ricky's at like 15% health though. I don't know about this play. They don't have a Vlad's or anything. No mech, no Grease. And they're just going to back off. Yes, No Tail's going to slowly but surely heal him up. But that's not going to be in time for to punish this Terrorblade respawn.
That's right, I always want to fly. You dream big, buddy. Cue up that Blink Dagger.
He's almost there.
Just
compound interest, right? He's got to invest over the minutes of this game.
100 gold at a time. 25-minute bounty runes, and OG going for the invasion inside the triangle. Hook shot going out, trying to defend his allies from that mid-wall. Ricky didn't really get the lockdown he was looking for, and it looks like Roger will be feasted upon by the Ricky Morrow. Now they're going to look to the left-hand side where I always want to fly. The next support will die. Double kill for mid-one. The core is still alive here of Flight of Moon, but this is OG's one of the best teams at doing this, by the way. Is like kind of baiting Roshan and then just running at the enemy.
Yeah, I just realized that Terrorblade is effectively a ranged core. Scotty goes up massively in value. The attack speed slow and the move speed slow are so much better on against the ranged heroes, and also both supports are ranged. So it's kind of like an expensive diffusal. Sure. You know, you get them in the cloud, you blink on them, and they're slowed by 50%.
Hook shot blocked by a Forge Spirit. That was just beautiful by Thompson. Iceberg still managed to go in after the agents picked up, though. And so his life is now forfeit, as it is maybe Generals if Seb. He's got the RP, but he didn't see anybody, so.
We talk about the Terrorblade being able to solo carry this game, but your other two cores are a Clockwork and a Tiny Man. They're just not going to scale. They're going to fall off. I have to believe you need something, you know, some other hero that would just naturally do well with virtually no items. I think Clock and Tiny, they've kind of hit the peak of their game. It's only going to go downhill from here. They're on the back nine. They're in their midlife crisis. They're about to have that panic attack if they have not already had it.
Deep breaths here for Flight of Moon. They try and calm themselves, steel their nerves, and see if they can hold out against OG down one game in this best-of-3 series. And they are a little bit split right now. An opportunity is going to present itself to Flight of Moon to perhaps kill Midwan, who does still have that Aegis, so they can't overcommit per se. And OG, well, they're rapidly swarming on in. They were once split, but it only takes a few seconds for them to group back up and become a swarm of hornets.
Now, Ricky, he's itemizing purely for this empower damage. He has the Scotty as his threat item, and now he's all in on that agility, as Ricky actually has one of the worst agility gains in the entire game, despite being an agility hero. So the only way he's going to benefit a significant amount from that empower is to go for some agility items. As he queues up the butterfly, will he complete that? That's, you know, a whole nother story. But as of now, that's what he's gearing up for.
What, you think that the game might just be over before he gets it?
I'm saying they might go for something else. He might go for like an Abyssal or even a Manta, I mentioned again, SNY. But Butterfly, if he's going straight damage, is very nice here, because it's not all that much survivability against 4 out of 5 heroes on Flight of Moon. But the thing is, we talked about, Terrorblade's really the only one that's going to scale. So I guess if he's itemizing purely against the Terrorblade, that goes up in value a lot this game compared to most other games, as he does commit to the Butterfly buying the Eagle Song.
Chill, mid-one, damn.
At least he's not in their fountain just yet.
Yeah, not yet. Give him time, though.
Oh, if Ogre goes down, that's a dieback.
A very big dieback, as OG, they got to get out of here. But General, he shows up, but does not have a hook shot.
They did use meta for that, so OG can wait and maybe still utilize that window. They might wait for Invoker. They'll have like 50 seconds where there's no meta and there is an Invoker.
Yeah, that's why Iceberg is looking for more kills, but mid-one, he was sitting there on the high ground, and he makes an RP that completely whipped. And V2 sees an opportunity. Was that an RP whip by the Rubik as well? I think so.
Yes, wow.
Double whipped RP. Don't see that every day, ladies and gentlemen. Soxa has the force staff to get himself down the cliff. No tail, though he doesn't have his borrowed times. So that's going to be 2 extra kills, and all it cost them was Tiny. Just kind of running in. Iceberg just kind of accepting his fate as the fight starter, and we'll never see the end of a team fight, I'm afraid. He'll always be in the grave by that point.
Big map opener for Flight of Moon here, as they now can block
the
freely.
hook shot.
Oh, he has Aegis still, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to be good or not. They could definitely take away this Aegis. What's going to happen on the second life, though? Saksa, he's going to show up. Seb, he's here as well. Nice two-man stun. No longer having the meta means this Terrorblade may not be as effective anymore. The Cogs push back immediately on mid one. And with the buyback, actually, they are going to be able to get the last one. Can they actually finish him off? They tried to help out mid one. He does get saved. Blink strike away. Up to the high ground he goes. And, well, Fly to Moon. They're just going to back away. No, they're not. Iceberg goes back in and quickly takes down Saksa. Does decent amount of damage to mid one as well. With the back away again. Iceberg with a quick assassination. And he gets out.
Notice how reliant Ricky is upon the Abaddon saves, as well as the armor from the Sven and the damage from the mag. He doesn't look very threatening when he doesn't have this supporting cast. And it just shows the importance of OG's entire lineup working together as one, as if they do manage to pick off one or two heroes at the start of the fight for Flight of Moon and chase for more, OG's just a lot less daunting as a lineup, and they can beat them in team fights.
Yeah.
Terrorblade is completely independent of his heroes around him, other than the fact that he needs their stuns. That's really all he relies on, is their disables, allowing him to hit the stun targets, as Metamorphosis is coming off cooldown. Grove Bow, quite a nice item here, allows him to position more around the RP with himself and his illusions, giving him that extra 150. Going Octarine Core is Thompson. Almost done with it, I believe. I think the recipe is about 900. I always forget when they rework these items.
Yeah. Oh, he's got the level 20 Blink Strike.
Yeah.
This is when supports don't have a game any longer.
Positioning no longer exists.
Yeah.
You cannot play around that. What I think it turns into 1100 blink range, 1200.
Yeah, I think it's actually, something like that.
Just like the PA cast range buff.
Sunstrike. Okay, but oh no. They saw an opportunity. They're going to be able to get the RP skewer back with the 425 extra range. They pull them all the way back into the tier 3 area. They don't immediately have the lasso to remove it, but it doesn't really matter. V-Tune's left alone. Deafening Blast slows down his damage. They're going to pop the glyph now to try and do some more work onto OG, but they're all pretty tanky here. And mid one, he's not scared of the Terrorblade by himself. It's a 1v5 after all. V-Tune. He does have his Sunder, so they got to be a little bit careful of that. Sunstrike isn't going to do enough. It doesn't land anyway. V-Tune.
I think it would have been enough.
You think so?
He's got like 500. It's pure damage. He has Ags too, so it gives that extra one level of X-Sword.
Yeah.
Does have a telescope on a bat, and that's a really good item for him here. Gives blink cast range on mid one. It gives blink cast range on mag. It gives Sven stun cast range. It gives a bat in the mist coil and the Photic shield. It's weird because usually you think of it as a attack range item, but in this case the cast range is quite impactful.
Yeah. Ben especially always has that problem, right? Hook shot immediately. That's an Aghanim Scepter double hook. That's gonna be enough. Dane stun mid one.
Mid one is
fed away his godlike streak. He is on one tonight.
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way, indeed. Well, comes with the good and bad, I guess. Entertaining. Give him that much.
Yeah, he's got balls of steel for sure, walking up that hill like that with a bat and not being in range. Sometimes when you play with these safe heroes, you feel so much stronger than you individually are, And you've been hard to kill all game, and he's like, I got this. At these face plants straight into death.
Haystream, what could possibly happen? What are they gonna do? Stun me? Says man who got chain stunned to death. And now
I'm going high ground, guys. They can't burst me.
Now
that's famous last words from any carry player. We've all been there, guys. Don't act like you haven't. Still feel free to say mid one kick W though.
Hook shot one. Cogs push back. Seb. And they have another hook shot here as he gets tossed up.
No buyback.
Hook shot not really needed. Seb, that's a dieback for him. 100 seconds on the clock.
Okay. This might lead to a Roche eventually.
Yeah.
It's not up yet.
Potential spawn time starts right now. So flight
2 minutes. Unlucky.
You hate to see it. They are super split right now. And OG, they somehow know that. maybe because of their wards, and they're going to be able to catch V-Tune here. It's got Manta and Meta. This though, it's going to be so problematic. Scotty slowing him down a lot. Does turn around to get off the Sunder, but here comes the Cataclysm. Two-man Sunstrike hits there. General's going to be able to help him out, though. Nice Cox holding back Soxa. At the same time, Thompson's just being obliterated by this damage. For the only thing this time that was on V-Tune's actual hero, his illusions almost did the trick, but Thompson slides away, thief into the night with that Ghost Walk, and less General, he's gonna find him. Re-ups it with the Aghanim Scepter and finds the hook shot, giving V-Tune the double kill, and all of a sudden OG, they're dead with 4. No buybacks, now a 1.
Yeah, they, I don't know. They seem to be thinking their lineup is strong without all 5 heroes. I think Mag's needed for damage, Sven's needed for some mobility and low cooldown stun, Invoker's needed for crowd control, Ricky's needed for actual damage, and Baden's needed for the save. Like, they actually need every part of their kit, and they just did that without a Mag. And suddenly V-Tune, he's not afraid of positioning anymore. He's just going to stand in place and hit everybody because the RP factor is just not there. And you see there, they weren't able to burst him down, able to get that Sunder off right before the Cataclysm hits. Suddenly they're all dead, losing a Rex. Went from down 8k to a Rex in their favor, and that's probably going to lead to Roche as they have a Courier sitting in there, going to be up in 30 seconds. Yes, all of OG will be alive, but they're going to have to walk through a creep wave to contest that for sure. As Terrorblade has a BKB, geared up to solo carry this game, as he queues up a Daedalus, deeming damage to be his only issue.
Okay.
Instead of an MKB.
Yeah.
A bit surprised against Ricky. The mischance threshold for Terrorblade actually did this test. It's around 45% that you would need to be missing for MKB to be more damage than Daedalus. Just because his illusions crit. So they hit like trucks with the Daedalus, but don't really benefit from the MKB proc at all.
Yeah, so he's got Smokescreen, which, okay, he's got BKB to deal with that, but he still has Heaven's Halberd, right?
Yeah.
Sven's got that at least. What else is there?
I think that's it, actually. So maybe that's why he's deemed Daedalus the play. Even though it doesn't help his illusions in Cloud, his main hero will be dumping out the damage. The OG's actually the ones that go into the Roche pit because Meta, I believe, is on cooldown still for another 30 or 40 seconds.
Can they do this fast enough with the alacrity? Mid one.
Not backstabbing it. There we go.
Okay, finally got Roshan's attention here. So now they can really lay the damage in Roche, and it's dropping fast. But at the same time, you're trying to do this against a Clockwork. Where's the rocket flares? Clockwork starting to approach. EMP, though, that's going to burn him out of all this mana, and they take the Aegis. They take the cheese.
Okay, well, we got a game on our hands. It's dead even. Down a lane of Rax is OG, but they also have the Aegis. It's all about the map control here. Who jumps who? And we see Thompson. He's almost dead full to 0.
That was an 1800 damage crit. Did I just see that? Oh, the flame break. It's not going to be enough. He regens way too much with the Quas build. All we told to fly. And he dies for his attempt on the Invoker's life.
I like Flight of Moon's lack of hesitation. Like, they just go, man. They see Thompson. They're like, we think Abaddon's not going to be there quite in time. He's playing way too out of position on Invoker. They almost bring him down full to 0. Even though it didn't work, I really like their immediate decision-making here.
What's the threshold on Magic Lamp? It's 400, right?
You get 400.
You get 400.
I actually don't know what the threshold itself is. It's about 400 as well, I think.
No-Tail looked at it, he was like, looking at it, he was like, I'm not sure if I want this item or not.
It gives you health, and it heals you. I feel like it's pretty important here. Yeah, I think that's really important.
Rock it on.
Spell Prism for Ricky, though, so I don't know if Thompson would like that more. Spell Prism's pretty insane on Invoker. It's also pretty insane on the likes of Mag. Once again, a hero with low cooldown spells, but also 1 long cooldown that would benefit drastically from that reduction. Leveler. Not that great of an item for the OG squad. Ricky doesn't benefit from attack speed too much. They actually give him Prism. That makes sense too. Makes his fade time on his ult that much lower.
Yeah.
And all of his other better spells.
Yeah, charges Blink Strike a little bit faster, able to Cloak and Dagger back and forth.
Once he gets to level 25, I believe his Cloak and Dagger has like a 4-second cooldown.
Yeah. Tier 3.
Or Tricks of the Trade, I mean.
Yeah, I always get those two confused. They're going to force Flight of Moon back to defend their base.
Ricky, the base hitter, when he has him power and alacrity.
Yeah.
hitting for 500 with those buffs from the
Keeps
front.
uncovering himself with the smoke screen just to make sure Iceberg can't blink and toss him backwards. But as the smoke screen fades, Iceberg sees his opportunity. Immediately goes into the tricks of the trade. The skewer on back. Iceberg completely isolated from the rest of his team. He pops Minotaur Horde, but it doesn't really do a whole lot for him. No buyback used just yet, but OG will respect Flight of Moon's base still. They back away, reset
They haven't used
a little
anything really though, so they're probably just going to go again.
Yeah. All they really used there was God Strength. That's from a forward position, Sven. So you might as well go again and see if you can force that buyback.
They spoke behind him, actually.
Hook shot one, Cogs pushback. Now the buyback comes in for the Tiny, but General, he positioned his Cogs. He wasn't trying to engage. He was trying to push OG back. The Clockwork still almost dies to Midwad here, and he's going to be lasted up. That's life number one.
He has cheese.
Now, No Tail's going to get a little closer, plus they have the cheese, so Midwad still has plenty of saves here. They managed to force the meta. So they can just kind of reset and wait for that meta to go away.
Please wait.
Are they going to wait, though? Midwad, he sees the opportunity to be able to catch the Bat Rider, force that Magic Lamp. All the little things that help save Always Want to Fly limp away. The illusions have been dealt with, though. The damage running low on Fly to Moon as they fail to be able to repel OG. That's going to be Elena Barracks.
But they didn't wait because the meta was already good. I didn't realize he popped it that early on in the fight.
Yeah. Now it just keeps on jumping in. Midwad sees an opportunity. Like the smoke screen catches Iceberg right as he goes for the jump buddy, but pops the Minotaur Horn. Does manage to get the toss back. Bashed up, though. Telekinesis doesn't last for long. Hookshot one. Cogs push back a 4-step, and he managed to get off the cheese on save, and now the RP into the beautiful. Thompson, he'll finish it up in style. They have a couple of buybacks, but only 2 for Flight of Moon, and it's looking like OG with that kind of sick wombo combo may have just ended this series.
Yeah, you couldn't even see the individual beams of the Cataclysm. They're all right on top of each other. It just looked like a one ray of absolute death as they just called the call.
They're not even going to try.
They showed signs of life.
Yeah, certainly did.
I was happy to see them fight back. They even took that Rax, and I would say Mid-1 as a carry player, the one thing that you have to learn moving from the other core roles is a little bit of discipline. It does, even if you're going to be balls to the wall the way OG is, you can't overextend the way he has. I think that might cost them against better teams.
He was a space creating mid, and then he moved into the offlane. He's like, all right, I got to get